If I'm not at the current seafood counter, I will be at Jeff's Bagel Run. There you go.
Yeah.
I absolutely, my family and I love Jeff's Bagel Run. In fact, I don't think we've done a Saturday without getting bagels there in like 8 months.
You know, shout out to the listener in Georgia.
Yeah,
they went to they had a grand opening in Georgia for Jeff's Bagel Run, and they told us that a Tom and Dan listener came by, and they're like, I heard about this from Tom and Dan. That makes us look awesome, by the way. Yeah. I was like, yes, guy.
We were sitting here at the studio. We get a text message from one of our PR reps and a friend, and I'm like, oh, dude, you just made us look so good. And the bagels, the spreads, the coffee, it's so, they just won an award for best coffee.
They're homemade fresh spreads every day. They have fresh fruit, vegetables in there.
Yeah. Well, it's just simple, right? The ingredients are, I think the bagels have less than 10 ingredients in them. The spreads are hand whipped every single day.
And when you go to Jeff's Bagel Run, there's 9 Central Florida locations. There's locations everywhere. Download the free app. That makes it super easy.
Get like a gift card for somebody. In fact, Maisie doesn't listen to this show. We did already get her a Jeff's Bagel Run gift card.
Oh, yeah, it's perfect.
If you want to get the Maisie, you get an everything bagel with hot sauce cream cheese and a raspberry lemonade.
Yeah, and the gift cards come in little packs, so it's perfect for a gift or for someone.
Get a hat, get a pair of socks. Put the gift card in a pair of socks.
Or a Jeff's Bagel Run coffee mug.
Get a coffee mug.
Yeah, because they have a lot of great merch on their website. You can go to jeffsbagelrun.com.
Yep.
Also, their app. Search for the app in your app store, Jeff's Bagel Run.
I got a new hack.
Okay.
If you're going to Jeff's Bagel Run and you're using the app and they're out of everything you want, drive there and just drive. Because when you get there, the ones that are out typically are going to be hot and fresh when you drive into the place. So do that.
Go get yourself some delicious bagels at jeffsbagelrun.com. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan, and obviously you can hear my voice. It is not that good. It is not that good a voice.
I was just telling Daniel on Twitch, when we record these shows, Daniel fires up Twitch. He usually plays some...
Don't make it sound that great. Fires up to it. That sounds cool. I turn on the button. I click. I click the button.
You play some warm-up commercials and tunes that we have hundreds of at this point.
Yep.
That either Melissa or Swervy Jones at the beginning...
Love you, Swervy.
...tunes together. Anyway, and then we come on and we usually do a warm-up because we realize that our... ages, not that we're too old, but you were not too young.
No.
So I don't know what you can just tell us.
I feel past middle, though.
Yeah.
I do feel past middle.
We have found that because usually we get in here and get to work, and we're working silently. And then we
I'm
have
better
to record.
silently in the morning, no one here, because it takes me a solid 7 minutes to remember every task I'm doing.
It's letting your car run to get the oil flowing. Cold morning.
Yeah.
Which apparently, I guess, up north is a thing, but in Florida, when it gets to 48, you don't have to leave. You don't have to warm your car.
Don't worry about it. Yeah.
I don't think it gets cold enough inside the engine to make a difference. Anyway.
I'm sure somebody will tell us after that declarative statement.
You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying.
We're not in Milwaukee where it's a frozen tundra. It got to negative 20 for 2 hours in the middle of the night.
Did you ever do that?
Got to 46 at dawn.
Yeah. Have you ever? I've never dealt with any type of scraping. Never. No warm up. No. Get in the car, crank it, drive it.
Dude, all the salt in the roads up north, that just ruins. I mean, it's a nightmare for you.
It destroys your car,
Could you imagine driving your Tesla around like salt slush for months
just
at a time?
Just having it destroyed.
Oh, yeah. You would probably get one of those under the carriage cleaners that people have.
I've seen those. Rich people have. Yeah.
They'll like drive.
You can drive over it. It'll blast your underbelly.
And then you drive in your garage. Anyway,
I can't afford that. They're like $7,000.
Back to warm up. So then we find ourselves doing a little warm up before we actually start recording the show that will cut up into a podcast and that may air on radio.
Sure.
So during that, we were talking about how me and Daniel, in the decade of doing this on our own, running this business.
Last week is when I quit real radio, it's been 12 years.
Oh, that was 12 years. Yeah. So
it's
more
been,
than that.
It's
yeah.
literally
a dozen
been 12 years. No, I would say 10 good ones. The first two, rough.
But even the Friday Free Show, which we started in 2009, that's our podcast. We've never ever called each other and called in sick or like, I can't record today. Ever.
Yeah, no.
In the history of the show, neither of us have ever called each other and said, I can't.
Like today, I should have called out probably. Because I'm getting you more sick.
Or you're doing fine.
I'm doing pretty good.
I'm doing fine. You're doing fine.
I do feel like I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah. So what are voices scratchy? We're getting it out. We're show up. Even though some people are like, God damn, you don't have to, I could just listen to one of the 10,000 podcasts that I have to catch up on.
Oh, this one's sick. I'll listen to a healthy one.
Yeah. I don't know if that's good or if it made a difference, but I am proud of the streak.
Should we have capped this?
What do you mean?
Like a number of shows.
I thought about this.
Yeah.
Well,
I know, yeah. You've thought about everything.
We're coming up on our 20-year anniversary. I say coming up. It's 4 years away. So
it's coming up.
4 years. It's like,
about that
we can make it there.
By the time that we're coming in for a landing of 20 years, it'll be time to fight about politics all over again, right?
Yeah. It's like you're running a marathon. If you got 20 and you're going to finish.
Yeah.
You're going to get the other 6 miles.
Yes.
So you're not going to quit before you have to get it done. Anyway, so...
Although I do that with TV shows and it drives Andrea crazy.
Yeah.
I watch full TV shows all the way down to the finale and I'm like, I'm out.
Oh, before the finale?
Yeah, like I will I do this. I've done this probably 35 times. And my wife, Andrea Dennis, would tell you, I did it with Game of Thrones. I've done it. I did it with Lost. I can give you real shows. I did it with Walking Dead. I do it with every show that we get into and we're watching it. I'll get right before the end and I'm like, I'm out.
What about Breaking Bad? Did you see the finale of Breaking Bad?
I know I read the finale, but I right before the machine gun, the trunk, I was like, I'm out. I'm out.
The remote control machine gun? You didn't see it?
I didn't. I read about it.
That is funny. I wonder.
It mows down all the Nazis. I read about it.
What is that? Is it because you're like...
I like the journey, not the...
destination?
The ending. No, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I do it all the time. I did it. I'm doing it currently and having to fight myself from doing it with Starting 5. That's not even a scripted show.
Yeah, some reality.
I've got 2 episodes to go and I'm like, I'm out. Nothing holds my interest. Nothing holds my interest.
So you don't care what happens?
No, I don't. No, you should not like it. It is a problem.
But you cared about starting it.
Yeah, I did. I was excited. I was all in. I buy the shirt. I'm Walking Dead. I got a Walking Dead hat on. I got a Walking Dead jacket.
Yeah.
I'm Walking Dead. I get 2 episodes before the ending, and I'm like, I hate all of this. I'm out. and I abandoned it.
It's got to be related to some anxiety of it.
It's definitely a mental problem. It is. There's got to be a shrink or somebody in our audience that can tell me exactly what it is.
Well, I knew it was a mental problem. That's apparent.
Oh, my God. The chat room's calling me on games. I did it with Baldur's Gate 3. Thank you. Ryan's calling me out. I did it on Baldur's Gate, the video game. I did it on Cyberpunk, the video game. I will get right before the final mission, and I know how to beat it. And I'm like, I hate this.
I like to imagine you go to a theme park.
Andrea never forgives me Game of Thrones. Dude, I did it with...
You wait in line, and right where you're about to get on the Hulk, you're just like, I'm out. You just walk out the exit. And then you're like, you came all the way here for nothing?
Want a bad one? I did it, Elton John concert.
Oh, you left before they
really big the finale. They're about to blast the confetti. I'm like, I hate this. I left. I left with my mom. I left with my mom and my wife.
I like that.
I don't do it.
Who else does that?
I don't do it with Madden. Somebody in the chat room asked me if I do it with Madden. I'm like, no, because those are short little. I can play a game and get it done.
We're talking about long, like you're watching Lord of the Rings.
I'm out. I'll get. I will do 78%.
Yeah, right? You get the ring of soul. And it just starts disappearing. You're like, I'm done.
I'm out.
And then
Andrew will be like, don't you want to know what an explanation? I was like, I'll read it. I'll go read it. But I've wasted too much. I have given you 78%. I have wasted too much time on this crap.
Yeah, but...
you're not going to get the other 23% or whatever it is. That's mine.
Like, you know when to walk away.
I do. I know what it is. Game of Thrones, I got it right. Some people said I got that one right. I walked away. You know, after Tyrion, he's launching all the liquid into the middle and he burning everybody.
Yeah.
That was where I got real waffly. I'm like, I think I'm out. I think I'm out of here because the little guy, he's awesome. But I think I got to get out of here.
What is that?
It's a sickness. It's a mental. Try to understand my sickness.
Okay, I will. I can figure it out.
Yes, figure out my sickness.
I could be a therapist. It's an easy job. So you tell me about your mental illness, and I'll figure out where it stems from.
I bet you, if you had family members of mine in here, you could have them pinpoint other times I've done it.
It's got to be somehow.
Forrest Gump. I did it with Forrest Gump. I had to come back. I had to come back.
You see the Gump.
I had to catch it at the end. I had to come back around and get it at the end. After we got waffly on like the party and AIDS, I was like, I hate this.
Yeah. And I'm like, this is genetic. So if your son doesn't have it, he's giving it to his. You cursed him. I'm joking.
He did. It's a gum curse.
Anyway, I figured it out.
Okay.
I figured it out.
Tell me.
So,
and how do I solve it?
It can't be solved.
Yes, I love can't be solved.
But it's a part of what it's related to anxiety, right?
Okay.
And so you're going into the movie, right? And then, people with anxiety, it's also related to you're constantly trying to figure out what's going to happen next because you need to know, because if you don't know, that's anxiety. It gives you anxiety.
Yeah, and that scares me.
So because of that, your brain works fast. It was partly why you're a fast comedian.
Okay.
Yeah, because your brain is like
podcaster.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, like everybody who's heard you knows that Daniel is quick-witted. Right?
Okay, I'll take that.
So while you're watching the movie, you've already figured out how it's going to end.
Or I think I did.
Or you think you did in 10 different ways, and then also some disappointing ways that it could end.
Okay.
And to spare yourself the anxiety or disappointment or
ending.
Yeah, or ending or like whatever it is, you're just like, I gotta get out of here. You'd rather just leave because
than to see it disappoint me.
Yes. Or
that's not bad.
To spark your anxiety in some way or whatever. It's like you're like, nothing good could come from me. Because whatever the ending is it's not that the satisfaction.
It's never that satisfying.
Yeah.
That I will agree with.
It's not worth the possibility of the anxiety it could bring me, or me being dissatisfied about the ending.
I'd rather just.
I don't want to be I don't want it to. I don't want to ruin this. I like it so far.
That's what I would add. Yeah, the thing I would add is that what you're also need to recognize is that the state I'm in currently, I like it, and I can feel this going poorly.
Yeah. Or maybe it will go good. Yeah. I don't want to take the chance.
I don't want to take the chance.
I don't want to gamble.
I'll take the deal. It's a deal or no deal. It's deal or no deal.
Yeah, but you just showed up and you played. You're right. And you played through the game, and you could win $1 million, but you could lose it all.
Yeah.
And you just take what.
Now, Game of Thrones, I won the $1 million.
You take what you got.
Game of Thrones, I got 600,000.
Yeah, you just you got the majority of it, and you walked away.
Yeah,
you're right.
That is how I do TV shows.
If it is the deal or no deal, I'll walk away now instead of going for it.
It's a little crazy.
No, but it's interesting because I'm always about the gamble. So I like riding the lightning to see what happens.
Which means you see a lot more stinkers.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen some real bad ones.
Yeah. Like that Brad Pitt movie you sat through.
Tree of Life.
I hate to bring this up. This is a hard pivot, but did you read what he did to his family on that plane? It's almost comical.
Oh, well, tell me about it.
Oh my God!
I want to laugh at it.
It's a bad thing to laugh at because he's a monster. He's a.
Hold on. I'll defend him in a segment called "Defending Monsters." Not what you think.
Let me get it. Okay, Brad Pitt details from plane. Oh my God!
I'll defend all monsters except the actual monsters.
We knew it. But what was released? Oh, God, am I going to be able to find it? It was on Reddit. Well, basically, I'll just give you the short of the long. Apparently, he's blitz drunk. Apparently,
all right. I've been there.
0.1 for Brad. Pretty cool. Right?
Every dad has been there. All right, keep going.
No, apparently what he did was he was there was...
Now, hold on. Let me set the scene. This is part of defending monster.
Private plane.
He's on a private plane that he paid for. Now, you can kind of make the argument Angelina Jolie also paid for it. She made a lot of money.
Yeah.
But anyway.
She probably made more.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
Okay, so basically, I'm going to give you the short of the long.
Sustained.
I can't find it on Reddit, but I'll give you the short of the long.
Okay.
This is what I read. Now, people can correct me. He stopped, he was arguing with everybody, everyone on the plane, yelling at all the kids and yelling at Angelina, which sounds like every dad to me.
Oh, yeah, well, what were they doing? Keep going. Because a lot of dads...
The part that's crazy is that apparently he grabs Angelina's head, they go to the back, and they're in the bathroom screaming at each other.
Okay, where he
grabs their head and starts smashing it into the ceiling.
Okay, all right.
On the side of the... First he starts punching the ceiling repeatedly, screaming.
Okay, all right.
Then he takes...
That was the warning.
That was the warning.
He gave her an adequate warning.
Then he took and then he took her head and smashed it into all the doors of the bathroom.
Okay.
Then he comes out. Then the kids ask her, "Is she okay?"
All right.
In which case he grabs, I guess, one of the kids by the throat. In which Angelina Jolie runs and does that move that little people do on bigger people, where you run and jump on their back.
Oh, the Tomb Raider.
The Tomb Raider. In which case, Brad Pitt, and this is the part that made me put my phone down. Apparently, Brad Pitt with a little Angelina Jolie on him doing the Tomb Raider. He jumped up and then landed on her like you would. He did the El Gadoosh.
He did the bam.
He did this. He goes, Gadoosh! And he literally smashed her in half.
That's the Sergeant Slaughter.
He did the Sergeant Slaughter. Yeah, Sergeant slaughtered her on the plane. And I put my phone down. I'm like, this is wild. This is a wild.
All right. Okay. So defending a monster. So he did take her into the back to
punch the ceiling,
but also to shield his kids from the atrocities, right?
Okay. It's called a Yakuza Banzai bomb. Thank you. The wrestling fans in there. He did a Yakuza
Banzai bomb.
It was a Banzai bomb.
No, he is a light man.
And then now Robert's telling me, this is insane. Robert, go read it. This is what is from the court documents that she was.
This her account or his? This is the kid's account.
I think it's every witness's account.
What did the private pilot open the door what's going on? Is someone
he yelled at everybody. He did the DMX. He wouldn't let him leave the plane.
Okay.
He's like, you're staying here.
Okay.
In which one of the kids was basically, you can't keep me here. And then he relinquished, and then, it was a mess. It's so bad.
He brought Angelina back to the bathroom so he
could punch the ceiling.
So he could yell at her, punch the ceiling. Now, he's trying to, shield his kids from the atrocities. So that's something good, right?
Okay.
So then he's punching the ceiling.
This is a warning.
It's hard to imagine that she shut up after that. I think he just said, hey, this is a harder thing to defend. Listen, look, sometimes you have to defend criminals. I'm just telling you.
I can almost defend the punching the ceiling, but the knocking her head around the bathroom.
This is the American court system. Even serial killers have a legal right for a defender.
You're correct.
Anyway, so she keeps talking. She does not get the warning of the punching the ceiling.
And neither did the kids. Oh, they're mad.
So then I'm not going to punch her, but I am going to slam her head. Okay, because it is less aggressive than the punch.
It's more of a, hey, wake up, you dumb. Hey, snap out of it. Yeah, it's a snap out of it.
Yeah, you're just, because the punch is a little more violent and you're slamming her head a little bit. I don't know. What's considered a slam?
Like a wake up.
Yeah, slap.
Yeah. It's like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hitting yourself.
You get out of the bathroom. She still won't shut up. The kids are freaking out. They're yelling at you like a monster.
Can you think of a worse scenario? Honestly, can you think of a worse scenario?
Homer Simpson has been choking his kids from TV for years.
That's true.
It is an acceptable.
Got a big Fox NFL buy.
He's on the NFL. He's been choking his son for years. But how bad is it?
But everybody in the NFL chokes their son. Right?
I'm just saying.
Or choke somebody.
Homer Simpson. Everybody wouldn't consider him a monster. He's choking his son because his son won't shut up. He's choking his son. Then your old lady jumps on your back, right? And then
you bonsai bomb her.
And then you have to bonsai bomb her because she's choking you out and screaming.
I don't even know if
defending a monster.
if Andrea bonsai bombed me, it would break my legs. You know what I mean? Like if I jumped on the back of my wife and she bonsai bombed me, it would break me.
Well, the point is you take all your weight and you sling it backwards so that all your weight lands on them.
That's what he did. Yeah,
knocking it out of them.
Oh my god!
I prefer the move where you smash up against the sides of the plane. That's
what you do with a guy in a pith helmet. You know.
Well, I'm just saying when someone's on your back and got their arms around you and their legs around you, you just start smashing them against the sides of the plane.
Yeah, or you do that move where the kids are running towards you to get you, and you turn around and they start punching their mom.
Yeah.
You're like foiled.
That's a why you hitting your mom scenario. Anyway,
this is wild. Right?
Seems odd that he went all that.
He went crazy.
I guess no one will really know exactly what happened except for the people on the plane.
But hey, man, he's great in whoops. He's fantastic in whoops.
Yeah. He seems like every time you see him, you're like,
every time I see him on a motorcycle, I'm like, hubba. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And those kids, look, what would their lives have been without Brad Pitt? Have you seen the doo-doo where they live?
No. Well, I mean, it was the full family, so there's
I'm still trying to do it.
I forgot you were still in the go mode.
I'm still in the.
You know what? That's good that you even. You know what? You're just like Glenn Clausman. Even on your off time, you help your clients, and I appreciate that.
All right, we'll take a break. We've got a guest coming in for another couple segments.
We haven't talked to this guy in a hot minute, so this should be fun.
We will be right back. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. Jesse Wolf is here. Jesse, let's talk about some brilliant businesses you've seen, because I saw one recently, literally a couple days ago, that my son showed me that I was like, my God, this is good. So you mentioned Savannah Bananas during the break, and of course we talked to Young Professor. He's a listener.
Yeah. I'm going to try to hook you guys up.
Oh my God, I'm the biggest banana fan there is. Yeah.
Well, he's the guy, and if there's any, maybe get you guys doing some cohesive. What do they call it? The kids call them the collabs.
The collabs.
You guys can do.
Listen,
some collabs.
I've been in their. Impressive business. I've been in the lottery for 3 years now, 4 years. Still, I just signed. Again for the. It's like. Kudos. I mean, that's an exciting, growing business.
And making it a lottery system, there's so much good marketing.
Oh, the FOMO, dude.
Which may have, like you said, sometimes you stumble into a rocket ship, and you make a decision, and you're like, man, you look back, and you're like, that was the best decision you ever. Yeah. Like, I just thought of it in 1 second.
I will say that there was, I wanted to go, but I wanted to go way more. When it was like, oh, this is a lottery. It's really hard to get these.
Yeah. And then you get them.
And then I was like, oh, well, then obviously this is premium. Whether it's true or not, it doesn't matter. I am the shill.
What happens, right, when you finally get the tickets?
I'm such a mark for all of that.
Oh, you run to social media and you go, holy crap, I got them. I got my tickets, And then everybody's like, I don't know what this is. To Dan's, it must be amazing. I need to know about it. And it's just genius marketing, dude. It's so smart.
So Max told me about a new YouTuber that he likes called Mark Rober, right?
I'm familiar with Mark Rober.
And so I was like, what is it? I thought it was the standard Unspeakables, the Mr. Beast, where you and your buddies rent out a house and fill it full of Orbeez. That's the business model.
Just me and my bros and 1 billion Orbeez.
And then
we're going to live in here. What's worse, living in a house with 1 Orbeez or a house with 10,000 Orbeez?
And for YouTubers, I call it the big model, which is like a 13-year-old boy living in a man's body, and he could now sleep on a trampoline.
Touche. That's exactly.
And then
I didn't take a shower for 1 whole year.
And then so every kid loves.
That's so funny, dude.
But every kid loves it because they're like, I want to live I want to fill my house full of Orbeez. And then they have no responsibility, even though behind the scenes these guys are
disgusting, stinky teen boys.
Listen, I know Unspeakable. You guys are on a crazy production schedule, and you're stressed out, and you're slapping your old lady around.
Yeah, you are.
And you are.
Off camera, she tells you to do something. You hold her by the the throat. You like, I am unspeakable.
And you
never question my videos.
And you can't get up in the morning without a couple of Percocet.
Oh, yeah.
You're just like every other businessman.
Before you film, you have to get a couple of Tito's to stop the shake.
So this Mark Rober, I thought was going to be the same exact thing. I'm like, all right, how many Orbeez does this guy have? And then I started watching it, and it's like a young, cool science experiment show.
Chat room's telling me that Mark is now on the renewed Yo Gabba Gabba on Apple TV. So he would be the cool science guy.
Oh, dang, dude.
Yeah, that's a good get.
That's crazy,
That's a good get
dude.
if he's on Yo Gabba Gabba.
Yeah.
Listen, a giant corporation owns this guy.
Well,
don't be fooled.
I mean,
because as soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, God, he's rich.
If he's on Apple TV, I mean, basically, he did a deal, yeah.
So basically, he does science experiments, and then it's all, and it's nothing outside of the box. It's all the same stuff, Mythbusters.
It's a house full of Orbeez?
No. It's making elephant toothpaste. It's stuff the Science Center does, obviously.
Yeah.
It's like you doing the rubber band water or the air blaster that blasts out a tube of,
a fart cannon. And then you got to do all this.
And then he sells a subscription where you get one of these a month.
It's called a KiwiCo Lab subscription box.
Yeah, it's Crunchy Labs, I guess, is the actual company that Mark Rober, and then so he does YouTube content. He gets people to subscribe, and then he'll play listener videos. And I'm watching this whole thing, and
I want to know what
my
this is
God.
per month. What is this?
It's like $30.
Oh, that's a good price point.
That's a great price point, actually.
Because we're sitting at the $2.95, and that was stupid. Who thought of that?
You're getting
no, it's a good one. It's good.
You're getting something in the mail, and then it's like, oh, put together this little science experiment, put together the fart blaster, put together the.
This is cool.
But what is sell though? Because as parents, you're like, oh my God, this is educational. Of course, I'll get this for my kids.
Yeah, but it's not. It's just Chinese junk.
It's just toys.
It's just Chinese junk in a box.
I respect at least the somewhat educational piece.
I also like making the kids put together their own Chinese junk.
Yeah.
Well,
it's like, now you're the Chinese kids.
Yeah. Here's my thoughts as a parent. I was like, well, this is 75% better than the House of Orbeez because there's nothing educational.
Oh, I go higher. Right. I go higher than 75.
Yeah.
Those guys make me so angry. I go 90.
Yeah, because at least
tell us how you feel.
I hate those guys.
And you could tell. Now, here's the thing. I'm no fool. Like he sold. I don't know how this guy started. I don't know the story, but he for certain a giant production company or equity firm bought at least 49% of this guy's company, and then said, "Hey, you run it. We'll give you the production crews.
Yeah.
We'll put money into it, and then, but you have to turn this from a $5 million business to a $100 million business." And he's on his way.
Yeah. Do you want to know?
Yeah.
I got that. Okay.
Yeah.
He's a former NASA engineer, popular YouTuber.
Checks out.
Funded Digital Duds, an online Halloween costume company in 2012. He sold that to a UK-based company in 2013 to get more money.
Holy cow.
In 2021, he did the Crunch Labs, like you said, and then as of 2024, there's no information, but it has been acquired.
Bingo. Bingo.
Absolutely been acquired, but it's so fresh. They don't have a number on it yet.
Because billionaires are people in charge of billions. They have teams constantly scouring the world, finding opportunities like this. Yeah. And then when they see it, they're like, come in, offer this guy, because we could build this. They know what the possibility is once you put the corporate machine behind it, right?
Well, I mean, and it's growth, right? I mean, that's where they come in. They think they can help is, they dump a bunch of capital behind it to expand it to, and that's the sweet spot for like private equity, VC. They come in, they try to buy something, that's doing 50 to 100 million, and their goal is to take it to $1 billion to $5 billion, and then sell it off again. You know what I mean? To one of the juggernauts. You know what I mean? And if you look, boy, my heart broke a couple weeks ago. I love Jersey Mike's. You know what I mean? And Jersey,
I saw that, and they're keeping on. Cancro, what's his name?
Yeah,
Peter Cancro.
Yeah, the founder. Yeah, if you will. So what's fascinating about a model like that?
I don't know why I follow so much business news.
Yeah,
like I know a lot of business.
You're
news.
Secretly into it. You know his name too. I'm impressed.
I think it's because of Tom. He's rubbing off on me. I think he's rubbing off on me.
Nice.
It bothers me. His name is not Mike.
Dude, okay, me too, man.
So mad. I was like,
me too.
I was like, just change your name to Mike.
Yeah, dude. If you're giving me $8 billion, I'm now Mike. Hello. You know know what I mean?
My daughter thinks that was a weird Freudian slip. My daughter thinks that Danny DeVito owns Jersey Mike's.
You know what?
I'm okay with that.
I'm actually into that. If we're being honest, I love J Mike's. And again, I try to always support local. It's my favorite thing to do. But what's weird about a J Mike's situation is it's someone local that owns that shop, right?
Yeah.
And that's there's maybe like a Chipotle. Chipotle is all corporate owned.
Yeah.
So like franchisee, it's still technically a small business owner, and this one over here by us is spectacular. The whole crew in there is amazing. But boy, when they sold, that was an interesting one because I'm like, I went to Blackstone, and Schwartzman and those guys. I'm like, what's the plan? So I really, just because I'm a nerd, I dug deep into what I could find. And it looks like from what I'm reading is they're trying to fuel expansion. And they're trying to basically go all overseas now with Jersey Mike's.
Yeah. There's a lot of stores too.
Yeah, a ton. And
I want to say, is it like thousands?
Thousands.
Because when I hear thousands, I go, oh, it rattles me. I'm like, oh God. I think it's like 1,300 stores or something.
It's crazy.
Big American sandwich.
Your hands are so small, I can't even place it in your hand.
The French eat salad for breakfast.
What
a big American sandwich.
They put the triple meat on the baguette. They put the triple meat.
Again, that's the French.
It actually sounds better with my voice.
Yeah, it does. It's pretty good.
Triple meat, the baguette.
So, Jesse, another thing I wanted to talk to you about, because I know you have at least a little bit more than the rest of us inside info on the show Shark Tank.
Yeah.
And when I started looking, I was like, is Shark Tank still around?
I can't keep up. Every time I tune in, it's like, I think that's 175.
Yeah, there's a lot of episodes.
Yeah, there's some old ones that you'll see it, and it's like the TV square.
Dude, I still replay on that, and I was 2015. I mean, so it's constantly replaying and rerunning. Yeah.
So I found out that it is still around.
Yeah, and there's season 15 or something.
And then, I think season 16 just ended, and I was like, and then
they're casting right now again for this next season.
But they got different sharks this year.
Yeah, well, Cuban stepped down. Yeah, they're starting. And that's
who took Cuban's place?
Who?
He's everywhere. Jelly Roll.
No, come on.
I want to start that. I want to
thank my mama. I want to thank my daddy down
That's a good
in
jelly
prison and all my fans.
That's a good jelly roll. I love jelly rolls. Jelly rolls, southern flavored boogers.
Yeah.
So I was like, how is I can't believe the show is still pumping out episodes. Yep. Then I started thinking, I'm like,
a lot of dreamers out there.
I don't know.
There are. That's not a joke.
I'm like, if I was one of the investors, I would actually, because these investors, a lot of them are billionaires, obviously, and he's like, and they have giant businesses, and I'm like, I would put money into the show to keep it going, just so it funnels me potential investments. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a huge money. One of these turns into $100 million. It's kind of like a lawsuit or whatever. It's like if the next, and this is an easy way. And then the show has created such people want to be on it for the marketing or so. Like all these people are funneling to you now. I guess the internet and stuff, you can find them that way, but it does funnel potential businesses to invest in. Do you think there's any of that? Like they pay to keep it going, and
I think to your point, there's a lot of dreamers, man. People, I mean, that's something that'll never go out of style, is wanting to start a business. It's the American dream.
Yeah.
The freedom, the financial freedom, the things that come along with like running a successful business if you can get it to that point. So like entrepreneurship will always be hot. Shark Tank is iconic for its platform and the way that they kind of did it. I think it's kind of like American Idol, though. I think there's just been a lot of seasons, so maybe it's okay to mix up the sharks a little bit. I don't know, But it is the problem that they're facing, which is fascinating. I always said Shark Tank hasn't done the best job with is TV in general is losing traction.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, they should have maybe pivoted to maybe a digital presence of some sort, maybe exclusive on Apple, or turn it into, like, more of a... I don't know. But... I'm really into media myself right now. Like I'm not in it besides just being a semi amateur influencer there, but I always watch it because it's fascinating watching the transition from TV shows, like classic that we grew up with, right? Family Matters and Friends and all that type of stuff. Sitcoms. To then they go to now Netflix and they drop it all at once, or they drop it in halves. And I don't know if people even have the patience anymore for sitcoms. Like, think about it. We really don't have these. I mean, we had 2.5 Men, like monster sitcoms.
I only have enough time for one broccoli-headed teen to throw a jug of milk at an old lady.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's all I have time, and then I swipe to the next video.
Yeah, and that's it because it's funny. I was watching this thing the other day about. If you've been on TikTok and you've seen the videos. They're movies that people chop up in like 90 sections.
Yeah.
And people are like, I don't have time to watch a movie. I only have time to sit on TikTok and scroll through all the clips of the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, what is happening there? You know what I mean? So, like, should they pivot to a platform like that?
I have to admit something.
Go ahead.
I watched the entire Terrifier 3 movie on TikTok in sections.
In sections, right?
In sections,
There's something weird.
Because I wanted to see the horrible scenes, and I didn't. You can't find them on like regular internet. But you can find everything you want on TikTok.
You can watch an entire, and it's funny because
terrible
catch
thing. You
the
can
movie,
find boobs, everything. On TikTok.
TikTok's the Wild West.
Yeah,
man.
it's wild,
and that attention. So, like, again, I'm a big person of disruption. Like we're talking about Savannah Bananas disrupting baseball.
Yeah,
changing the game. I think NASCAR. Like, if I had the money, I would love to Savannah Bananas NASCAR. I think NASCAR.
That's pretty good.
It's genius, right?
Yeah.
I think it's due for disruption. I think it's boring, it's over bloated.
Yeah.
Golf was kind of the same way with PGA Tour. Hence why Liv kind of came through.
Yeah.
But I think you could Savannah Banana Golf too.
Put a figure 8 in there.
Yeah. Hold on. Why don't we get a little of that Saudi money behind the NASCAR? And what if the Sheik is driving? I'm telling you.
Hey, he gets the caution laps.
What did they say in Wicked? The best way to get people together is to have a common enemy.
Yeah,
right? You got to have the Sheik driving the car.
They have lost a lot of that WWE. They're villains. No, I'm sure if you talk to a NASCAR guy, like, oh no, this guy's the villain. But he's like, no, I need a skull car and a shooting red smoke. You need to start. I mean, the NFL is, let's say, good at business.
Yeah.
They're this next Monday game. I think is Green Bay, and I forgot who they're playing.
Detroit.
Green Bay, Detroit, but they part.
Good game.
It's a Simpsons game.
Dude, it's so rad. So rad.
Oh, I haven't heard about this.
Yes, this is so sick.
And so basically, they've already done all the voices for it and stuff like that. But so it's of course an alternative feed, so you can watch the regular Monday night game, or you can watch it with your kids. I'm going to watch it with Max and Tommy because they love the Simpsons.
I'll watch the hell out of that.
I know they're hitting on the things we grew up with and we love.
Yeah,
and it's
getting
so
new audience, younger kids.
Dude, I watched the Manning brothers. I don't watch the regular feed. I watch them because I'm like, this is way more entertaining sometimes than especially if it's a game you don't really care about. I'm like, those guys are
that's what I use gambling for, Jesse.
Yeah.
The rest of us use gambling. Yeah. I need to watch a regular feed because I have a lot of money right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, this is crazy. Yeah. Like, this is...
it's genius, right?
Yeah, it really...
Describe what they're going to do.
All right, so December 9th, Disney and the NFL will present the Simpsons Fun Day Football. Real-time animated broadcast, the Monday night game between Cincinnati and the Dallas Cowboys. We got that wrong. But
sorry. Yeah, Cincinnati, Dallas. Yeah.
So, basically, how it's going to roll out, it'll start at 8. The game will be set in Springfield's Adams Stadium with Bart Simpson supporting the Bengals and Homer supporting the Cowboys. Oh, Homer, you got screwed.
Yeah, hardcore.
That's lame, right? That's by design. By design, he got the Cowboys. Margin, Lisa will be there. They'll do player interviews. Maggie's going to operate the Skycam. They've done a lot of jokes for it. Both characters will participate in key plays. Voice actors, including Hank Azaria. All the actors are back, and they will have real Simpsons enthusiasts that will provide the play-by-play, so you'll have that going on at the same time, too.
Anyway, brilliant marketing.
That's badass.
Genius.
That's badass.
Now, you could make the argument that the NFL found themselves in a situation where they're the only live TV anybody's watching anymore. So their
sports, right?
Their marketing has blown up 100-fold, and their teams are worth billions. And now they have unlimited. They've reached the category of unlimited cash, unlimited everything.
Yeah.
They can do anything they want. There's nothing that they can't do.
Yeah.
At this point. And so it becomes a lot easier as a company to function like that when you have zero, boundaries of, hey, we'd like to do this, but it costs too much. It's like,
I mean, it's funny because football is, there was a while where, I'm a big college football guy. Like, I would always choose college over NFL usually. The last couple of years, I'm like getting big back in like more. I watch a lot of the NFL games again, and it's because they're fighting back to keep your attention. And I always joke, Taylor Swift. I don't know if that was just. I mean, that was very poetic. Luck, if you will, for the NFL, because holy hell did that reignite.
Oh, yeah. Me and you, like, everybody was like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist thinking that Taylor Swift is getting paid by anybody. I'm like, are you joking? They're showing her all the time.
Yeah.
Like, her lawyers wouldn't let that happen. They're like, you can't make money off her like this. She's an equal.
She sells out every one of those stadiums she goes into. I mean, come on, dude.
Follow the money.
Yeah, I guarantee you, mark my word, right? That lady will own an NFL team within the next 5 years. That's kind of what I was
thinking, dude. Yeah. That is okay. Like, and maybe we talked about this like months and months ago, but I think that came up.
Yeah.
About like, what if she became an owner?
Oh, it would be stupid.
Because it takes the only part of the game that's truly male dominated. Everything, it instantly makes it better.
Oh yeah,
flip a switch overnight, and ladies are like, we like it now.
Yeah, I mean that team would be just. I mean, it would be a monster marketing team.
Now I could probably guess that you're going to say they would never let that happen, but I could see that.
No, the NFL and all the owners.
What's best for business?
They would love that to happen.
100%.
Now, but it's hard because 32 teams, but there's a couple guys they want out of there. Well,
she could even come in as just a piece of an ownership, and it would rocket that.
Oh, the old Jimmy Buffett style.
Yeah,
well, they just did that in Vegas with Brady.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So now, like the Jaguars, like Shad Khan is like he's got unlimited money, so he doesn't need to sell.
I saw his ship last night. Actually, I was up in Jacksonville.
Wow!
Holy helmet, dude!
Yeah, that guy's doing
that. He has a cruise ship. That's not a boat. I mean, it is monstrous. But go ahead.
They want to boot the Jets owner out of there.
I didn't know that.
The NFL doesn't like that guy.
And they hate the Jaguars owner, right?
No, that's Shad Khan.
No. I'm talking about not Jaguars.
Raiders.
NFC South. Panthers. That guy's a psycho. The bald guy, psycho. They hate that guy.
Yeah, so there's, and like same thing they did in Washington, where they, they'll pressure you out.
Yeah.
With enough influence and money, they'll get you out. Who knows how much money?
Well, they're going to make your life a living hell if you stay, right? I mean, like they at the end of the day, you have an NFL licensed franchise. You know what I mean? So like, I mean, it's just
their rules.
It's business. Yeah.
Back to the idea you were talking about, like turning Fashion Square Mall into a '90s retro, like. Almost a destination to go back into time.
Yeah.
And it's like
I thought that's what Deezerland was.
That's too far back. You went too far, Deezer.
Too far.
What I'm saying,
Tom has a personal, he's got to meet Mr. Deezer at one point.
Hey, that car collection's wild. I would love to be there for that podcast.
Because I'm sure that, if you got some investors together and you bought dead brands that were popular in the 90s, they would probably sell them for nothing. Like you start going back and you buy some brands
you know what I would buy?
Well, so there's some that are
Zinca for your nose.
Yeah.
Remember Zinca? I would buy Zinca.
Like you put
sharper image.
You put
KZ
toys.
I got one. Tequiza, the lime flavored salt beer. Remember Tequiza?
I mean, Spencer's Gifts is still a thing. Like, you can put, a Hot Topic of Spencer's. Like, you already got the Foot Locker, like some things that are already a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Well, dude, you know who's killing it? Again, brilliant marketing team. Pizza Hut. You can go eat at a Pizza Hut Classic.
I've seen this.
And they are blowing. There's waiting lists. Like, I mean, they're like reservations.
I saw one in Georgia. People are destination. They're going to Georgia.
But that's the one where the owners, because I guess it's a franchise, where they're like, look, if we're going to do this, we're doing it right. They did everything back, like stepping into 86.
I would drive. I would literally road trip to that. Yeah, that would be a blast.
That would be fun as hell.
That is going to be a big business as well, too. And we're going to see that in Orlando for sure 100%. Because we're a tourist destination, and they're going to start opening them up here.
I'm surprised we don't even have one.
Right? The last one was hanging on right over here by the Target, and it closed, and I was like, no. And it was not one of the real OGs, but it was close enough.
So they're going to bring the roof back, I think, too, which means, in a really weird, effed up way, our children's children will have weird businesses in Pizza Huts just like we do now.
Yeah,
think about that. How crazy is that? Right?
Full circle.
Yeah, it's like we have Pizza Huts now that are vape shops. In the future, there will be digital vape shops that are newer Pizza Huts.
Let's end with this because I thought speaking of like
I'm hungry now.
Retro
Let's order pizza.
Yeah, right.
God, sounds good. Those breadsticks, those little breadsticks, they cut them with the half moon cutter.
I thought about this roller rinks, right? We grew up with roller rinks.
Dude.
I live next to Cimarron Skateway, right?
Yep.
And every time I go in there, I look around and I'm like, my God, this place frozen time in the 80s. And it's still the same. There's some arcades, a roller rink, a DJ.
The carpet on the wall is exactly the same.
It smells like bowling alley, weirdly enough.
The skates are the same. There's just one little ticket lady, like everything's the same. And then I'm like,
snack bar, and I'm potato skates.
There's so much you could do with this and charge more. And then it dawned on me. I was like, oh, like this is if this ever turned big business, everybody would be wearing helmets. It would be different. I'm like, the only way it exists is because it's small, and then they can't, because like the liability, if we all look at it, like, my God, every kid's in here skating with no helmet, like it's an insurance nightmare.
No, just skates, barely skates.
They all don't know what they're doing.
That was like, remember the little 500 over Maitland? Oh, dude, I kept telling my girlfriend, I'm like, I need to buy that place. And then it went out. And I was like, no, dude. I was like, that's such a, like, just iconic, classic. And it's funny because we all grew up with that stuff. So, like, we have the memories. Now, like, it's like the kids now, they're like, when we tell the stories, like, well, where do you even do that? It's gone. It's all gone.
And they're also all electric. And look, I'm an electric car guy.
Yeah.
But if you're going for go-karts,
gas, baby.
Yeah. You gotta have.
I need carbon monoxide poisoning.
It's gotta have exhaust right in your face. It's gotta have exhaust in your face.
It's scarier when you get battle ran by a gas
got a piece of rust. I went to Fun and Wheels. Fun and Wheels when I was 12. I was marching in the drum line at DeLand Middle School or high school. I got a piece of rust that shot out of an exhaust pipe, embedded in my eye, and had to go to an optometrist to have it surgically removed.
Oh my God.
That's called go-karting. That's go-karting,
That should be a t-shirt. Yeah. That's go-karting, bitch.
Rubbin's racing, bitch.
Yeah.
That's how we did it.
Every cushion has a slit through the middle.
And even on the driest day, it's still wet.
And the yellow foam is wet as hell, and it smells like fish. And you're going to sit on that fish, and you're going to go for half.
And one go-kart out of the rest of them is faster than by 10 minutes.
All of them. And if you get in the Jeff Gordon car, I will scream gay. I'll scream gay.
Everything's rusty.
Villain stories.
You're looking around and you're like, everyone's on crack. Anyway.
Why is everyone so skinny here? Because they're on drugs.
Is this Ozempic? No,
it's not.
Son. That was Ozempic in the 90s.
Street Ozempic.
Jesse, thanks so much. We appreciate it.
We love you, buddy.
Love you guys, too.
We will be right back. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. We have the Tom and Dan business expert, social media business influencer.
Shark.
Lover of Costco.
Lover of Costco. Yeah, I saw that.
I'm going to update my bio. This is too good.
Person secretly angry at Subway for not telling any of us that they put the sweet teriyaki onion sauce on the shelves now. You can buy it.
Still not over that.
Yeah, very. But ladies and gentlemen, we love this guy. It is our very good friend, Jesse Wolf.
How you doing, Jesse?
Hello, guys.
And by good friend, I mean we see you 3 times a year.
Yeah, but we live 10 minutes apart.
I know. It's terrible.
So, Jesse, let's talk some small business, because this past Saturday was Small Business Saturday.
And we are a small business, and the greatest thing you can do as a small business is completely forget that it's Small Business Saturday, which is exactly what the F we did.
It's our holiday. Whoops, what was that?
Great job, Dan.
Yeah, good job, guys.
Yeah, good job.
I feel like all small business is ruined by Amazon. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there because I just feel like the majority of the population is sitting at home looking at their Amazon and like, I just want someone to deliver this to me, and I'm not going to go to this local small business.
You know why? Because that's some BS.
Then they're like, what? It's closed on Sundays. You're mad at it, and you're like, I'm just going to order it. Anyway. So, Small Business Saturday. And of course, that's for everybody to go out and support their small business around their neighborhoods. Which, when people say that, though, I think sometimes. See, I don't think people understand what small businesses are. So when you say Small Business Saturday, I do think that the majority of people think,
I don't need any of your Etsy crap.
Right,
that's not what it is.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
I do think that, though. I think everybody thinks like
craft fair,
burn
farmers
pest,
markets,
burn pest, right?
Yeah.
Burn pest. We love them. They kick so much ass at our business. We're a small business, but I'm going to use Burn as an example.
Yeah.
Small business, family owned.
Yeah.
It's like 4 guys.
They
have like 8 guys at the most. They are the epitome of small business. Check them out. If you need pest control, boom. There you go. Small Business Saturday.
They have gift cards for Christmas.
Yeah. A bucket brigade junk removal.
Small business.
Perfect. Owned by firefighters. Viking Locks.
Yeah, Viking Locks. These are like the small businesses that I feel like really need the love.
But it's funny because by definition, I think it's under like 5 or 10 million revenue is considered small business, and you got to think like there's a lot of family businesses out there that do a couple $1 million a year, and like on paper you're like, wow, they're millionaires, but it's like we all know the take home on that. It's a sprouting business that's paying people, impacting the economy and stuff, and Orlando's full of like some really cool, bigger small businesses, if you will. There's actually, and I've never got a chance to meet the guy, but I think it's called like mudwater tackle or mudwater fishing or something like that.
Okay.
Mud stick maybe, I forget. Anyways, but he's
I know what a mud stick is.
Yeah.
I was dropping off mud sticks all morning.
I will say, proceed with caution. Googling mud stick. We'll get the response for that one. But
I think our good friend Mike Busey has a mud stick that he uses.
Come on,
he has to break them up.
Another small business.
He has to break them up before they go down.
So, let's talk about because Daniel brought it up with Etsy. There is a point where it's too small, where it's hard because. And
you're selling like Casey Musgraves deeper well earrings that are handmade for $75 a piece. That's not a small business.
Sounds like the wife getting those for Christmas.
No,
that was oddly specific.
Yeah, it was oddly specific. It was.
Well, like
they're for me. They're for me.
They're actually for me.
Yeah.
Your garage sale isn't a small business.
It's not.
Like selling stuff on eBay.
No.
That's
your
not...
buddy's quote apparel company. Not a small business. It's not. He made 50 T-shirts. That's not a small business.
Yeah. But it kind of like people like to say, I got my own small business.
No, normally they say I have an apparel company. That's the biggest one is T-shirts.
Or the one I always get is, what do you do? I'm an entrepreneur. It's like, but what do you entrepreneur at? It's like, well, you're not, you have an entrepreneurial spirit, you know what I mean? But
also, most people that are busted by our friend Tizzy on like TikTok for being racist, when asked what they do, they'll normally be like, I'm an entrepreneur.
I'm an entrepreneur. Great. It gives a great
normally they say that.
Yeah, the entrepreneur spirit will not get you very far.
You have to, and it's so funny because,
spirit.
I talk to a lot of UCF students. I go up there and I coach the kids and stuff.
I talk to a lot of UCF girls.
Yeah.
That's fine, actually.
It's totally fine.
It's not fine. But actually, I believe the society celebrates.
Yeah, really.
And is there coaching going on amongst that conversation?
I mean, there's not really. I'm more of a
coaxing.
I'm more of. What do they call? I'm a mentor.
Okay, I like that.
I'm a mentor.
I like that.
So you do a lot of talks at UCF.
So there's a lot of people. Like everyone's always afraid of sharing ideas, right? Like, oh, someone's going to steal my idea. I could sit here and probably give you my next 5 ideas. The odds that someone's actually going to run with it. I mean, that's where the rubber meets the road. There's a lot of hobbyists, and it's okay to have a side thing. I make a little extra cash slinging things on Etsy, but I see so many damn good ideas on Etsy that never leave Etsy. And like, that's really important because you could take that really awesome idea or thing you're making on there, and you can make it the next step where it becomes a formalized real business. And I personally, I hate Etsy. Etsy really has a chokehold on a lot of those sellers, but a lot of them don't understand that next step, or they copy each other 90 ways to Sunday. I don't know how many of those like tumblers printed I've seen on there.
Well, it's amazing that you can bend a piece of wire to look like somebody's pet.
Yeah.
But where it gets really amazing is when you can pump out 10,000 of those out of China.
Yeah. Well, but
you know what I mean? Like, seriously.
There's something in between
scaling it up.
So there's a brand called
Doc Johnson. No. I'll do it all day if you don't say anything. Yeah. I'm sorry. It's a sickness.
This is going to be a fun one. Yeah. What the heck's the name of this brand? Anyways, so what they do is they make these. That's a great brand.
They're great pickles.
They make a bag that you could customize like monograms and stuff. Okay. Everyone does it, constantly on Etsy. But they built a $40 million brand off this thing, and the difference was they built a brand, right? So, like, that's the key that a lot of small businesses kind of tend to forget. You're just a business owner when you're running your little thing as it's budding, but you really have to start getting out of your business or get out of your business and on top of your business, if you will, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of day to day we find ourselves, we're the marketing person, we're the salesperson, we're the manufacturer, which is great, right? But there's that bridge that's really hard to grow out of where you have to go, I have to take a pay cut. Right, I can't keep all the money for myself, right? As a solo entrepreneur, and I'm gonna have to eat crow or work 2 jobs to pay someone else to come down and do my marketing to let my business grow to the next level, right? And then you start taking those haircuts, and that's the sacrifice a lot of the small guys just don't want to do. It's really uncomfortable. It's really hard, and entrepreneurship is not easy. Running a small business is not the easiest, but if you want to grow it, to the next level, those are those moments of uncomfortability you have to get, comfortable with,
So, Jesse.
Mine's real quick.
Yeah,
what would you say to a small business who has people like you and listeners giving them great ideas all the time, but they just don't want to take the advice? Because I feel like that's where we're at.
Yeah. It's kind of like anything.
Because
right?
honestly, we know best.
Well, you want to lose weight? You'll lose weight.
I do want to lose weight.
Well, no, I'm just saying, right? Like, you want to eat healthier? You can lead a horse to the water, but you can't force it to drink.
I know.
And honestly, I get calls weekly from people. Of all sizes, from people doing $200,000 to $200 million. I kid you not. And it's like save our brand, save our company. And it's pretty repetitive. I pop the hood on these businesses quickly.
Yeah.
I go through them and I'm like, it's A, B, and C almost every time. They're hemorrhaging cash. They're overspending on certain things they shouldn't be. Or, small business style, it's like, dude, you're in your business every day. You need to get out of it and on top of it. And I always try to tend to look at a business like driving one of those big cargo ships, right? The captain's not down in the cargo hull. Like looking at ratchet traps. He's got a team that does that. He's not
You've
dropping
never
anchors.
seen Captain Tom.
Yeah. that's a different cargo haul.
I could put my cell phone on FaceTime and just put it in front of the steering wheel, and then I go down there and fix the engine.
It's too tough.
Double the time.
And then I'm just looking where I'm going as I fix the engine. I can do it all, Jesse.
Okay. And this is a prime example.
This comes back to taking not taking the advice, right?
Yeah. I appreciate the ingenuity. Okay, that's very creative. God forbid you lose reception. The boat is just hitting everything.
Well, you gotta take chances in small business. Okay. This is a perfect segue into something that I have thought a lot about. And I want to get your opinion on this,
There's
Jesse.
nothing he hasn't thought a lot about.
I'm intrigued.
Daniel and I have been, owners.
Did you tell him I want to buy a Jeff's Bagel Run?
yeah, that's a good business. But owners of T&D Media for over a decade and has been running successfully.
Which massively that's a big deal.
Thank you.
Now, when you say successfully, that's subjective as well. And this is where I want to talk to you about something that I have come to realize, and it may not be the right. Small business is a subjective business if it's always small, right? And that my point being is I find myself telling myself, don't think like big business. You're a small business. Do what big business can't do. And so one of the things that I used to think all the time is the success is making the most money possible, the most revenue possible. And so that's the mantra of a big business, right? That's what they live by.
Yeah,
that's a corporation's main goal. Most revenue possible at all times.
Right.
And that's what they live by. But as a small business, you don't necessarily need to think think like that, because what could happen is if you think like that, then you're kind of a slave to that mantra of big business. And sometimes making the most money possible is not necessarily what you're in this for, if you're in this for more than just building this business for pure monetary reasons. It could be building a job that you want.
Well, and that's a lifestyle
or
business,
a community,
right? And there's something special about that, like acknowledging where do I want to ultimately be with this business? Because at a lifestyle business, like let's take a landscaping company, right?
Yeah.
You can make $200-300 grand a year with you and another guy, running around doing landscaping and simple, things like that. Pretty easy. And you're making a good living. It's easy. You're only managing one person.
Lingerie landscape.
Well, you know what? HOA might not approve, but I'm into it.
Yeah. We're in and out. It's quick.
By easy, I think Jesse means that it's not. You don't have to think out of the box.
Run, right?
Obviously the work is hard, but you may like that.
Yeah.
And you're thinking like I know a lot of landscapers.
Yeah, definitely not easy work.
No.
They easy business to run.
They like the exercise of it. They like being outside.
Yep.
They like
make their own hours, do what they want. They're their own boss.
Yep.
They actually enjoy the landscaping part of it, and then you're right, and it's like you're building a lifestyle business, and a lot of times that people forget about that, and then they.
It's okay. Those are beautiful businesses to run. Yeah. There's a lot of mechanic shops that run like that. That are, again, it's not easy work, but it's an easier business to run because once you start going, let's talk landscape again. Hey, I want to grow this thing into $1 million revenue. You're going to have a couple trucks. You're going to have a couple mowers. You're going to have 5 to 10 employees. Well, now you've got maintenance on equipment. You've got employees to manage. People are calling off. That's
drug problems. Yeah. Oh my God, the drug problems.
Well, is that with the lingerie?
Lingerie landscapers? Oh my God, they would come to us with drug problems.
This reminds me of an old parable that I'm going to screw up.
I love it when you screw up parables.
Yeah.
So there's a Mexican fisherman.
Oh, this is just a racist joke. I like that. Yeah.
That there was a businessman saw this Mexican fisherman on vacation, and he was going out in the morning, catching some fish, coming back, and then having some beer with some friends, and then selling the fish and spending time with his family. And then the businessman goes to the Mexican fisherman and says, hey, I see you're only catching what you need for the day. You can turn this into a bigger business, start catching more fish, getting more employees to catch other fish, start a fishery, blah, 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 build this business up, and over the next 20 years, then you could sell this business and then be rich. And then all you have to do all day is fish and have beers with your friends and spend time with your family. Yeah. And he's like, I'm already doing that now.
Yeah.
And so what?
But I think he said it more like it was like a cooler way, right?
Yeah. Like, well, he said it like a Mexican fisherman.
I'm already doing that. And this is the greatest thing I have. One day you will know what true love is.
Yours sounds a little cartelish, actually.
It does. It does. Well, I live in nothing but stereotypes.
I feel like he's very successful. He's fishing for non-fish fish.
Everything that comes out of my mouth sounds just like a TV stereotype.
Yeah.
Everything.
So, Jesse, have you seen an example like that where someone, you look at someone's business and you're like, man, you've gotten too big or to the point where this is not the job you set out for it to be, and you don't want to do this, and you were actually happier, smaller.
Yeah.
And
you know what it sounds like? It sounds like salesman to manager. Like when my dad went to be a manager, and he was like, I hate this.
Yeah.
He's like, I can make just as much money or more being a salesman, and I love it.
Servers and bartenders say that all the time. A bartender would get, be the general manager. Like, this job stinks.
Like,
the bartender job, I enjoyed that.
I get to talk to people. I make, I have a little more freedom.
You don't have any responsibility, right? Like, as a salesperson, that's a great example. As a salesman, it's just you. It's your show. You talk to your customers. You're not managing anybody. You're your own show, And, going back, it just depends on what you want to do, because like what I do these days that I end up getting into is, I'll take basically a small business, either I build them or, I meet somebody that's like having problems or struggling, and we'll team up and we'll grow that thing to an exit. Right. And that's the path they want to do. And, they're not always, fun rides. A lot of times they're real messy and bloody, and they get bumpy because we scale them pretty quick. But it's fascinating because you said something earlier that a lot of big businesses, corporate companies, right? They focus on profitability and revenue, right? Mainly revenue, like a lot of times with profitability being right next to it. The way we scale, because we're all small business, everything we do, we sit in this super fun place of disruption, right? And that's like what you guys have here too. You guys are considered a small business, but by revenue, you guys are doing great. For especially like your payroll to revenue, et cetera. Like you guys are in a good place. You guys are in this, like what I call the sweet spot of disruption.
Oh, that means you're destroying your business as it's successful.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
That's what I feel like I do every day. I come in here and Tom builds it up a little bit, and then I'm like, got to tear that down.
Yeah, it's getting too big.
I got to tear that down.
But you get in there, you get a chance to where you guys can move faster, and you know this firsthand, than the bigger media companies ever could. You guys can try new things, test new things, hit new trends faster, and that's what makes all of my brands that we build valuable. Because like when we go and we sell off to, I don't know, Mondelez or one of the big boys, Campbell Soups, those guys are the big VCs and private equity firms. They buy us because we're hot. They buy us because we're growing like crazy. We're the cool kids, and their brands that they're wrapping us up under, they're dormant. They're legacy brands. They do well, but they can't innovate that fast. Like look at Oreo, for instance. How many Oreos? They put out new product, but it's like 5-10 new cookies a year. That's it. One of the brands I'm deep in right now, we're putting out almost 40 new items a quarter. You know what I mean? So like we can move faster, we can move quicker, and for us that's fun.
Keeps it interesting.
It does, and we piss in their Wheaties. That's what we do. And it makes the big guys go nuts because they can't keep up with us. And that's how you start seeing a lot of this new innovation come along the way. And that's like you see brands like Rayo's get acquired and things like that because they don't want the store-bought brands, and they don't want the, whatever, just pick one of the many brands on the shelf that have been there forever, the Pregu, for $3.99. They want a little more premium. So going back, and this is another fascinating thing going off that landscape thing. This is one of the biggest pieces of advice I always try to give people. As a small business, you have to acknowledge that you cannot compete with a big business. Okay?
Yeah.
And not in the sense of like you can't get up there and take them down, but coming out of the gates, if their item is $4.99, you can't be $4.99. You don't have the volume, you don't have the profit margins, you don't have the machine that makes that business. It's impossible.
Yeah.
So like, going back to like the fishing guy story, right? Let's talk like a restaurant. Is it, easier to run, you get one location, okay? Is it easier to open a location that slings tacos for $2 a taco? Or go to Kabuki Sushi, where your average check value is $400. Which one is going to throw off way more profit and be easier to run? And by easier, not the actual physical day-to-day work, but profitability. You're not struggling for cash, keeping the lights on. The people that come in there, and that's why if you could do a steakhouse right, they kill it. If you do Kabuki Sushi right, for instance, Henry, he's doing...
That place rules, dude.
Oh, dude.
Oh, my God, it's so good.
And he crushes it. He provides a beautiful experience. It's delicious, high-end food.
You can take your family. Like, it's like Maisie's adult enough to go there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good,
But he's clutch with
so good.
He's clutch with 2 locations. That's all he needs.
Yeah.
And, he's killing it. Whereas if I have 2 taco shops... Okay, I'm going to need to make... I'm going to have to open 10 of those for me to finally be able to sit back and be like, okay, we're good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, that's where if you look at, like, a kabuki to, like, a taco shop, and I use tacos, hot dog shop, whatever, something that's just trying to compete with, like, your good price point food items, you're gonna have a lifestyle business, not by choice, but because that's all it can throw off for you to live off of. Whereas Kabuki has these huge check margins, and again, it's an expensive product, but you're also going for a premium experience.
Sure.
So I try to tell like anybody that does this, even landscaping. Like if I was going to open a landscape company today, I wouldn't go compete with your everyday, $100 cut. I'd go try to be a boutique. High end.
The chat room was talking about there is a boutique, and somebody lay it back in the chat room so I can get the details. But I guess their hook is that they come to your house and everything's electric.
Oh, see, I dig
We're
that.
quiet.
Dude, I dig that in charge of premium.
I think that's their thing. And I'm like, oh, God, that's a great idea.
That's a brilliant idea.
For nerds and stupid moms that would love to pay for that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And
Dude,
oh, my God.
Even for me as a guy, I work home a ton, right? Our landscaper, I mean, Tuesday morning,
the blower.
Yeah. I mean, now that that's mentioned, that's funny because that's something that even interests me just for that one day a week of like, if it's $75 more, I don't even care.
Well, you know what? Let's talk about that. The electric blower, not that much more quiet than the gas blower.
I have an electric blower. I have a little electric blower, and it is so loud I can't use it.
Yeah. I mean, the gas
I still
blower,
get the mulch ricocheting off my windows.
it's not quiet by any means. So back to like advantages small businesses have that they often don't think of. I've thought about this as well. Big business and giant corporations are terrified of getting sued, and basically they put a lot of effort into just making sure they don't get sued because that's a big problem for them because they're a big business. They have money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then if you have a lot of money, then your likelihood of getting sued becomes higher. So then they try to protect themselves from that.
Look at McDonald's. I mean, everybody's gaming McDonald's to get sued, or Walmart, or Publix, whatever.
Yeah. But then that mentality spreads around to even small business where they get in their mind worried about getting sued.
Yeah.
And then it's like, dude, no one's going to sue you. You don't have any money.
Yeah.
Like, you don't understand how lawyers work. They're going to look at this small business and be like, there's no money here. I'm not going to take this.
And once you start talking to lawyers, I mean, that's the first thing you're going to say is, cool, you're going to sue landscape company ABC. It's in an LLC. You're not going to get anything.
Yeah,
we
don't have anything.
No, I mean, that's where, I mean, you guys know, I mean, you've done this for 10 years, it's like, you got to take a risk, and just.
Oh, I thought you meant, 10 years, have nothing. Yes, we do know that.
You have a very nice scooter, okay? I pass it 3 times a week.
You guys know 10 years and you've got nothing to show for it.
Very successful.
Yeah. Welcome to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan.
We're going to do some Weird Job Wednesday. Let's hit it.
Do you want the... I guess I should probably do this one. I was going to play I like the funnier one. I've been sort of neglecting this one. You know what? If you can indulge me for a second.
Yeah.
Think of something that you would like to plug, and then I'm going to go in here and I'm going to try and find a little bit better Weird Job song, a funnier one.
Well, I'll plug Modern Plumbing Industries, modernpi.com. Mention Tom and Dan, get 10% off any service, and you want a really good local company that's family owned and has been in Central Florida since 1975. Modern Plumbing's it.
That's the one.
They can handle any plumbing issue that you have.
All right, let's do something that we've neglected.
Fat slobs, working jobs, big fat slobs, working the jobs, slobs with jobs, slobby jobs, summer blood with jobs, disguised as slobs. Fat slobs, working jobs.
Why'd you pick this one? You picked the most awkward one. This has nothing to do with you guys.
No, that's not what I like. I like the one that talks about complex now.
Yeah, but then you know what the hell.
Big, fat, disgusting slob.
We're working on it. We're working on it.
No.
Big, fat, here the slob.
I apologize. I don't even know why Fat Slobs is in the song. It's
I don't either.
I don't weird
either.
Jobs, but then Daniel's fixated on it, and then it's
I am
awkward
obsessed with Jelly Roll.
when we have
Yeah. I'm obsessed with him.
It's fair.
I'm obsessed with him, and he eats his boogers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god! Oh my god! He eats his boogers.
Adam and Wayne are on the couch with us, and
Good afternoon.
Hello. Give you a blast.
so they have a show called Fish and Brits, correct?
That's right. Yep.
So tell me about Fish and Brits.
How you want to go first? You want me to go first?
Yeah, you're the talker.
I guess I am the talker.
come
So,
on.
Fish and Brits came about. We talk about it a bit on. We've got one season out.
Yeah.
Of a couple of episodes.
Hold on, did you guys have British accents when you walked
We
in?
did. Yes, we did.
I thought you just started faking it right now. I was like, oh my god!
We turn on when we get into work mode. a little
Well,
bit
you
more.
see, Thomas, what actually happened.
Well then, Pip,
we are
cheerio.
part of the. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we cover that on our first episode too, about how our accents and our dialects work in this country, because I moved here in 1990, so I've been here quite a while. So I start to talk like this. It depends on the situation.
Yeah.
But once I start talking about English things, this starts happening, and I start sounding very English. And Adam has been here a couple of years also, so we are both originally from England.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where the concept came from.
Well, we started off in the pub, didn't we? As all good ideas start.
Yeah, we were in the pub.
Well, it was just after Christmas last year. Because we've got no time around Christmas because we're doing everything in the world elsewhere.
Yeah.
We have our holiday family get-together with both our families at the pub in January. And during that, my son, he was 2 at the time, he's 3 now, we'd been doing some nursery rhymes with him during the day. And my wife and I had started singing The Wheels on the Bus. And it got to the last line, and we both sung something completely different. And that started, and I said to you that night, I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, he said, I'll sing it, you finish it. So I finished it the way he finished it, and my wife goes, wait, that's not right. So our American wives are like, wait, it ends like this. And we're like, yeah, no, it ends like this.
No, we got it proper. We invented the
Hold on,
language.
how does it end?
I feel like that's like a great British joke. Right? I was trying to think. I was trying to do it like wheels on the bus.
All together now.
Yeah.
The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round all day long. All day long.
Like all over town.
All day long.
All day long. See, that's the argument. That's how it started.
That's how it started. That's literally how this
all through
podcast
the town.
started.
You got to go all through the town.
Yeah. So
All day long.
So all day
He's a
long
workaholic.
is British.
Yes.
Yeah.
And all over town is America.
Yes.
Well, Oliver Town is British.
No, all over town.
Yeah, Paperboy.
It's a weird thing because it really has nothing. You'd think the British version would be like, and fish and chips.
Yeah, fish and chips.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's the second verse. Yeah.
I feel like your version of the
universal
wheels of the bus,
healthcare.
the wheels of the bus go round and round. Fish and chips. I feel like that's a great version.
The American version is there's a shooter on the bus.
Everyone on the bus, they have a gun. Everyone has a gun.
Sure, in England it would be a knife, so it works.
Yes. The man on the bus is screaming about how he can make the best curry, and he just cut another man's head off. Europe goes hard. Europe goes real hard. You guys do like beheadings. They do. Like you'll go to Paris, and it'll be like Paris beheading. I'm like, Europe goes harder than we do.
So, is this the whole concept? Is that there's are like different tropes that we all know of in American culture that differs from British culture, and so you guys talk about that?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, pretty
much. We got to a point where we realized actually we should really start to remember and keep track of these things that connected us to our culture back in England, little things like that, and we found that Americans found we were very funny because of the strange things that we did. Well, you, not me. You're the funny man. That's why I brought you on. But yeah, these little comparisons, these oddities, these little culture shocks that we obviously found when we moved over here, people are interested in for whatever reasons. And it
oh my God! I just realized we're talking to British Tom and Dave.
Yes.
I love it.
I'm Daniel.
Look at looking at hats.
We got hats on. I got to straighten the brim. Hold on.
And what?
I'll curve mine for you.
Well,
opposite now.
Are you Wayne or
Anything for
Adam?
I'm Adam.
Adam. When Adam was an unintentional D-head, when he was like, then I realized, oh my God, it's the British Tom and Dave.
Yeah, what would you call it? You would be accidental prick.
Accidental prick.
Accidental prick.
That's the name of our next album.
Oh, I love that.
Anyway, so, and then you guys started the show. Now, the legitimate question, because I've talked to Dan Cummins about this. When you have a particular...
He sent us a Christmas card, and he got his to us before we got ours to his, so he wins.
yeah.
That's how it works.
Well, he's rich.
Yeah, he is rich.
He got a bigger business. He got more employees.
He had someone send it.
I've been wanting to say this, and I'm going to say it because today I've been like getting things off my chest. This is the second time I've done this. Dan Cummins' Christmas card is beautiful. It's gold inlay. It's got the little piece of paper inside when you take out the card. Ooh. Our Christmas card is from 2022, and Tom is having me use a red Sharpie to...
Well, I don't know why Tony put that in there. Why did he hide a small 2022?
It's the tiniest little yellow 2022, and I'm taking a red Sharpie and dotting over it like you would do your rims if you were in a car club. I'm just using a black Sharpie. Yeah.
Hold on, show it to our guests because no one can even see it. And I was like, why the hell did he put that in there? And I just talked good about Tony, and he hit a little 2022, and I know when he did it, he's like, this will screw him over in a couple of years.
They're going to have to rebrand everything.
But I told Daniel, I was like, no one will even see that.
This is a disgrace in the podcasting business. My God.
And I did the thing that, like, when Santa's like yelling and screaming, I did the thing that an elf that doesn't necessarily agree with him does. I was like, because he was like, no one will ever see that. Doesn't even matter. And I was like, okay, sir. I do think that maybe ordering new ones would be a good idea. Oh, just use a red Sharpie. Ho, ho, ho. And I'm like, yes, sir. Back to the toys, sir.
May have a lump of coal on fire at the same time.
I'm more of a Scrooge. I have a pile of bills. I'm using an ink pen to write something. Anyway. So back to my point is that when you have like a show that has a particular theme, then like I would worry about running out of like if you're highlighting differences between the British and American culture, like you look further, you're like one day we're gonna run out, or it's like or you're scraping the bottom, like Dan Cummings when I was like there's so much like there's a lot of different like crazy conspiracy theories and monster stories, but there is a finite amount where you start to having to search for them.
Yeah, and I think he's even expressed some of that struggle on this show.
You
where
he's like,
then next thing you know, you're doing, instead of just doing cryptids, you have to do like nuclear war, and that's, how does that affect your audience when you're switching up the topics?
Luckily, we're finding that Americans and English constantly weird, so there's always something to. But it's a fair point. In our first season, we had a special topic of the week, which was a little bit free form. We were just something we'd want to chat about. Season 2, which drops in February.
Nice.
We're having a specific theme of the week. So we'll have yes, I told you in the pub. So we'll have the sports week, the television week.
They are
like that
British Tom and Dan. I just like watching.
This guy's got a beard and a flapper hat. How weird is that? I'm telling you.
And then Adam didn't tell Wayne what he was doing, and then Wayne was like, "We're doing that."
Oh no, that's our entire dynamic.
You can't tell them; they'll screw it up.
I got the podcast together. I got in touch with our producer Owen and got the website started before I'd even told him that we were doing it.
It started as when we got home from the pub.
Yeah.
I went home and kept drinking, and I was like, oh, man, that'd be a great idea.
Well, that's what Daniel loves there.
Yeah. And so then I came up with the fish and Brits, and I was like, and so I messaged him. This is going to be
good for a
fish
pun
and Brits
and some drinking.
And I come up with our little fish and Brits, complete rip off of Ballroom Blitz. I'm like, oh, this is great because I'm drunk.
Yeah.
And so then literally the next day he goes, right, here's the website. We've got the producer Owens coming in. I go, what are you talking about? Next thing we're on our way, and that's
just so much
literally how our
easier to
life
get things
is.
done.
Our life is like this.
Yeah.
And then the show is like this. So it's just a continuation of what my day is hanging with this idiot.
That's what we do. That's pretty close.
It's just so much easier. I'm definitely the husband.
Yeah.
What are some surprising things that you found out from doing this show? Because I'm sure there's something you're like, oh, I didn't know about this. This is bizarre.
Dialects is something that a lot of people bring up, the accent. People in America are amazed at how many accents there are in England versus America. There's probably, we haven't counted because we're not that boring, there's probably there's more dialects in the UK than there are in America total.
Oh, really?
You can go to a different town, a different side of the street even, and there'll be a slightly different dialect.
And I like that you guys look down on the people that have the poor accent.
Oh, yes.
I love that. They're like, oh, yeah, he's got one of those, accent. Like a Cockney or something.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, that guy's a chimney sweep. He's a piece of crap.
Dick Van Dyke, who's that?
Yeah. I like that you guys are like, no, listen to the way he talks. He's uncultured swine.
Okay, well, let's talk about America's. We got Southern redneck. Right? Everybody knows that one.
Yep.
Then you got like Fargo. I'll put that in the middle, north of the country, whatever. And then there's regular, which is all the East Coast. With a like a little bit of Fargo.
Teen broccoli.
Then
there's Taco Bell.
Yeah, that's in Texas. Yeah.
You've got your Valley Girl, you've got your New Yorker on both sides.
Oh, my favorite new porn category is Black Valley Girl.
What the hell?
Holy smokes! I didn't even know that existed. Dude, Black Valley Girl.
Why would you mention that?
Because he said Valley Girl. It's really simple. It's a simple thing.
Well, that's a topic for an episode.
Write down Valley Girls versus Black Valley Girls. Oh, those videos are great.
So in the UK, though, I know like you guys are talking regular British.
Regular.
And then there's a Cockney more of I call it redneck British. It's like out in the country, you get your accent gets more.
Pretty much. You're the posh.
I'm south. You're north. You're Liverpool.
Because I'm from Liverpool,
so
my accent's not even what my accent really is.
Get angry and do it. Go on.
I'll start talking to you like that. You know what I mean? Like, can you understand what I'm saying to you, Tom?
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
it's fast.
Okay.
He's a Beatle.
I am a Beatle.
Yeah, and then I'm more Cambridgeshire down south. But no, if you're looking for I think we've done that. Or maybe we've talked about it. What would the redneck in England be?
Yeah.
And I think we got into a debate about it. I'd put Essex.
Yeah, they're
down
sort of like
south.
this down south. They sort of like that, London.
No, that's London.
okay.
That's
Oh,
not
that's
Essex.
good.
Yeah, but even further south.
Well, further
I can't
south.
go. I can't do it that good.
The further south you get, the posher you get. Because
Yeah,
you get down to Sussex, and
It's
then
South
you're
London, Essex.
Oh, Essex. There
yeah,
she
yeah,
is.
Essex. How you
that's
doing?
the-
All right.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
How
that
are
one's
ya?
that one.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That sounds like a person that wants to do drugs with me.
There you go.
Yeah.
Come on then, Danny. Let's go round the
Yeah,
corner.
it sounds like we're gonna hit this, and we're wearing tracksuits.
Oh,
Of
yes.
course.
Yeah.
Pink proper shell suits with the little white stripes.
Yeah,
down
white
the
stripes.
side.
Yeah. I'm into
That's the
all
one.
of this.
You're
Let's-
into that?
Yeah, let's just be British scum.
The name's usually Sharon.
That's our job.
All right. So what's the Snatch, Brad Pitt, gypsy British that he talks about? I don't even know what that is. I don't know. You guys say that.
Hey, did you guys read? Did you guys read what he did on that plane?
What happened? What happened? I
Not as good as Black Valley Girls,
Right.
but it's very worth reading.
Yeah, but
I mean, that your sort of your lock, stock, and your snatch. That's very much a London base. That's your hard East End London.
Okay.
There's actually a soap opera called EastEnders that deals with that specific type of person and dialect there. But yeah, that's what that would
and
be.
there's technically speaking the English language in just such a slang
I like it.
that it's turned into its own language almost, but
Yeah.
technically
Yeah.
its base is English.
Yes, we invented it so we can mess with it. That's the-
Mess everybody up. Cockney rhyming, that whole thing.
I like that.
We did
Yeah.
a thing on the podcast and I did through me. I was like, I have no idea what the hell that means, and I'm from England.
yeah, the Cockney rhyming slang, that one's a mess. But,
Yeah.
Have you, I'm curious to your audience, because nowadays when you do a podcast, you can see where people download it from. Yes. And do you see a lot of English and British downloads, or is it primarily people that can relate to you guys that have moved here, are kind of expats from Britain, and then now they because they're like you guys, like, hey, I used to live in the UK, now I live in
want a
America.
connection.
Yeah, and
We get that a lot with Orlando people that moved away. And
Yeah.
they're like, well, we still love the city. We like to be connected through you guys.
I mean, I listen to British radio in the morning in my car.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I listen to you guys. So
There you go.
Right on.
But no, I'm the computer numbers person on that one, and we've seen it's about a 40-60 split, 60% from America, a lot from Florida, but we're about 34 states into all 50 states right now. But they've gone as far. All the UK, we've got listeners all through there. As far as we've got some in Australia.
Jamaica was the one. I was like, what?
Jamaica followed us for a little while, but then you realise that Jamaica has a large English expat community who moved over there, so it's their sort of thing.
and also, it's just some guy from Florida on vacation.
No, you say that.
I'm like, there's a listener in Iraq, and then I'm like, it's just some military guy from Florida.
It suddenly popped up in Portugal one day. I'm like, mate, we've got someone in Portugal. Turns out it was my sister on holiday.
How's he understand us? Oh, it's
We did have one download years ago. One. From North Korea.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that person's dead.
yeah, they're done.
Right? They're dead. Probably. We know they're dead.
So now, when it comes to turning this into a business, because since this is a weird job,
They sound better than we do just by jump.
No, yeah.
I mean, put a couple pairs of glasses on him and it's a done deal.
So what's the plan moving forward? I'm always curious with how many episodes in are you?
Season 1 was 10 episodes.
Okay.
We did a live hurricane episode where we broadcast from each other's houses on the on the old COVID style.
And that was him calling me in the morning going, is your laptop charged? I go, yeah. He goes, call in. I go, what for what? Let's go. And we did like an hour and a half. I'm like, what are we doing?
And then
we sound awful. We have no microphones. What are we doing? We're having a laugh.
It worked
it's
out.
all about having a laugh and just going for it.
And then tomorrow we've got our Christmas episode that we're looking forward to recording. We're actually recording that tomorrow. But we work in a lot of the entertainment fields here in Orlando. We call them the fairgrounds on the show. Read between the lines on that one, if you will. But this is something that we get to do that is just for us. This is something that we can control, we can have fun with, and put it out there. We put it out there in the hopes that one or two people would listen at the start and we just have a chat. We've got a great number of audience members.
Yeah, it went
now.
mental. We were like, what is happening? What is going on here?
Yeah.
And he messaged me, mate, downloads and blah, blah, blah. These numbers. I'm going, What? Why do people want to listen to us?
We
just
thought we'd be in the
goof off?
tens. We've got the thousands going up there.
That's crazy.
Okay,
Just crazy.
So we're still very much the new kids. We're still learning. We've had a couple of sponsors in the last season, which was great. They approached us as well, and we're starting that up again with the second season to get some folks involved. Mainly your British companies. A great company up in New York sponsored us for the first season, who actually bake all their own British goods.
Oh, cool.
Because we do an 11s segment on the show where we talk about food and drink and all that sort of thing. Which, if we do,
do you want to do an 11s with us?
No, yeah,
We brought some 11s. It might make you feel better.
I hope it's that purple concentrate that you guys love.
Oh, Ribena.
Yeah.
All right.
It's the adult version of
Ribena's great.
Ribena.
Oh.
You know what I drink? I don't even dilute it. I just drink the syrup.
Oh, that's mental.
Oh,
Yeah, it's so good.
And by the way,
strong. It'll get me going.
a British gun is a knife.
Daniel, this for you.
For you, there you go. This is one of our favorite breweries. This is Samuel Smith's.
Oh, I love Samuel Smith.
You love Samuel Smith?
Yes.
One of my favorite pubs in London was the Samuel Smith's pub, and so I grew up in it from there.
Well, you're getting a different. Well, let me ask you: Are you getting a different Samuel Smith's than I am here?
No, Samuel Smith's brews exclusively in Tadcaster in Yorkshire, and they do export themselves.
Glad to ask. Glad I asked.
Yeah, everything that you'll drink, it's like a Guinness that comes from St. James's Gate. It's only from there.
Oh my God, this smells like straight candy.
This one,
this is candy.
Like a candy bar.
You're welcome. This is our organic as if I work for them. This is the organic chocolate stout.
Well,
this
it smells
one,
like a Baby Ruth, like straight up candy bar.
Well, cheers, lads.
Cheers. Congaloosh.
Cheers.
But it's
Oh God, that's good.
right. That's a perfect one. That's a year round.
And
That's
your
not
voice came
even.
back.
It's not even a Christmas
coated.
special one.
It's perfectly coated.
And we do like to provide a little something to munch upon.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as we are doing our Christmas special tomorrow, we thought we'd bring you some mince pies.
Oh,
The real deal.
There you go, the real deal.
Has this got meat in it?
No, it used to originally, but the recipe was changed to be only fruit.
I might be British
There you
because
go.
my daughter loves mince pies.
Oh, there you go.
And she forces us to buy them for Santa Claus every year because
done.
apparently he doesn't like cookies. He likes mince pies.
Oh, there you go.
He does. He loves them.
Yeah.
But
Father Christmas.
I like how the stereotype that,
do you eat this?
British food is bland. I'm drinking chocolate beer and pie. What the hell? Delicious.
We go on rants about British food a lot during the show. I am a big supporter of British food, and with that, people saying that it's bland, that it's hard.
not good.
We just grow good ingredients that don't have to have much added into them. And that goes for the beer, that goes for the food, that goes for a lot of the culinary things in England.
That's delicious.
Right? So there you go. Cheers. Happy Christmas.
That's awesome, man. And do you think there are...
Oh, yeah, my wife is correct. It was Peppa Pig.
Hi, Andrea.
Peppa Pig.
Jen says hi.
Sorry, I'm about to die here. It was Peppa Pig that taught us about mince pies.
You know what? We have a lot of listeners that are British because especially back before podcasting, they would come into Central Florida and hear us on the radio.
Yeah.
And then from there
100%.
follows our careers. And I imagine there are a lot of, expats from Britain in Central Florida because they got used to coming over here on holiday or whatever. And then they just, end up living in Florida.
Yeah, they'll buy a house and they'll make it the rental house. So when they go back to England,
That's our whole area, the Davenport area
area.
and that Four Corners area. There's a huge amount of British expats there who bought those vacation houses.
That's the only reason I'm into the EPL is because of a monster listener, that Tony, would fly because he would only vacation in two spots, Orlando and Spain. Yep. And that sounds British, right? And so Orlando has dried up because he says Spain is cheaper and nicer. And can't argue with that. But he's the reason I'm an Arsenal supporter. He just started sending me shirts.
Oh, good man.
Yeah.
I didn't know that one.
Calm down.
Here's a shirt. I have... I don't know, maybe 17 different. Arsenal. I have goalie. I was in the member of the club.
Yeah.
Where you used to be able to watch Arsenal on your computer every game. Like you would subscribe, but wait, I'm talking 20 years ago. You could watch it. You can't really do that now.
My son for football, not soccer, I call it football, at a daycare, I bought him the old 1990s away kit, the blue and yellow Arsenal one, and that's what he plays soccer in at daycare.
I want a JVC one. I want an old school JVC.
That's it. I had a
Arsenal
Bergkamp
kit.
one. Bergkamp was my favorite player. I had a JVC with Bergkamp on the back. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I was a Terry Henry guy.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
And and old Van Persie. He broke my heart. Robin Van Persie broke my heart.
Happens.
Let me ask you the dumbest question I've ever asked.
Yes.
You do that.
I'll take another sip.
Yeah, what is the thing you called it? 11?
11
Yeah, we do
yeah.
dumbest question in the world.
Every 4th of July, I'm on Facebook scrolling, and then I see the inevitable meme of something like, take that, Britain. We celebrate the day we beat you, whatever, some shot at Britain of us beating.
right.
And then I imagine that if I'm British, I would just quit bringing it up. And I'll be like, quit bringing it up.
Shut up.
Yeah. It's like enough time has passed. Do you guys think like that?
I think more the British are now like, no, you're good. You're on your own in this one. There's the old meme that used to
You're
go
welcome
around.
that we didn't just, stick around.
Queen Elizabeth was the meme that said, you're welcome, ungrateful colonials. That's what it used to have on there. I'd get that one sent to me all the time. No, I think, what do you think? This is me throwing it to you.
Yeah, same. Whatever. Just I'm fine with it all. Just have at it. Good luck.
I did enjoy this year, though, that the British election for a prime minister was on July 4th. And the American election for a president was on November 5th. So we're both trying to get rid of each other's countries.
I liked it better when you had the British Trump, whatever the hell that guy's name was.
Boris.
I was like, they got it too high. I laughed, and then now you're
You loved him because he was having COVID parties. And I was like, yeah.
I was like, I got the British Trumps.
This guy F's.
Adam, Wayne, thanks so much for coming by. Again,
You're so welcome, guys.
Fish and Brits is the podcast. And it can be found anywhere podcasts are not
Anywhere podcasts and fishandbrits.com. The N is in the middle as opposed to and. Fishandbrits.com.
Okay, awesome. And hopefully you guys will come back.
Absolutely.
And,
Man,
we'll do
anytime.
another
Thanks for
thing.
having us.
Thank you very
man,
much.
Anytime. Love you guys. Thanks for being here. Oh, and love you too, buddy.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Corporate Time. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We are live on Twitch and YouTube. If you like watching podcasts, well, head on over and just search for @Tom and Dan Live.
And if you want to subscribe to become a BDM, that's our subscription service we've had for about 11 years now. You get an extra show every Monday. We do a BDM show, and you can only listen to that once you put your name and password in the app. Or on the website, but you can get it through our free app if you search Tom and Dan on your app store.
There's tons of content on there, all kinds of new stuff, old stuff.
And we're doing 2 BDM events. We've done 2 a year for only BDMs. Every year we've had the BDM subscription, and so you get invited to that, an email invite for you and a guest to come to those. I was talking to Crystal yesterday, and we were at... I'll tell you about this. So we went to their annual, the school puts on like a winter wonderland, they call it. They've been doing it every year. Like some schools
sounds like something you would hate. The old winter carnival.
It's essentially trunk or treat, but it's
candy canes.
It's Christmas trunk or treat.
Yes.
And so they basically each teacher I guess they opt to do it. Which, by the way, I started thinking if I was a teacher, this would be something I'd never optionally do because
you would be like the non-optional teacher.
Yeah, I'd be the curmudgeon science teacher that's drinking on the job that never is involved with anything unless the principal mandates every teacher being there.
You know, you are pointing out something that my mom did that I don't see a lot of, was like my mom did so many things that were like the little things that nobody asked for.
Yeah.
And most of your awesome teachers do that.
No, I know.
So you and I would probably be poor teachers.
Hats off to all the teachers volunteering to like do a trunk or treat.
That is the only thing people do is they take their hats off to them. They don't give them money or anything. They're just like, hats off. Yeah, thoughts of prayers. Hats off to your teachers.
Teacher's like, I need money. Now you're stinking at.
I'll stomp your ass.
Like, I don't care about your appreciation. Like, I don't know. I can't pay you.
You've been saying that a lot lately, and I flagged it in my brain. You're like, hats off? I'm like, oh, he's doing the hats off again.
They're like, hold on. If every parent here gave me an extra $500,
give me a hat. I'll sell all the hats.
Like, how about an extra $500? And we're all like, no. Just hats off.
Let's not get crazy.
Yeah. I'll give you
a salute.
Hats off, thoughts and prayers. Anything nothing but money. Anyway.
I think hats off is worse than thoughts and prayers.
So they do this winter wonderland, and the teachers, like some of them go like great.
They dress up like a snowman. And
the Grinch, the full-on Grinch outfit, and they have like a table behind
Boy Grinch
truck.
or girl Grinch?
Boy Grinch. Okay. But then they like it's ridiculous.
I like a good girl Grinch.
And then this year though they stepped it up, and it seemed like some and maybe the PTA some parent got in there like, well, I can get a DJ. They had a DJ.
Oh my God!
And a snow machine.
DJ Khaled.
And and then I'm like, oh, they had some food trucks.
That's cool.
So I started thinking, I was like, well,
I can do a winter carnival.
Well, Town Crystal. I was like, I wonder. I'm like, I'll get a bounce house.
I'm a teacher now.
If I can get on the mic and be like, hey, T&D Media donated this bounce house.
Oh, yeah.
Tommy and Max's dad paid for it.
Yeah. Only Tommy and Max allowed to jump in it.
No, all the kids could jump in it, but then the boys would be like, oh, your dad bought us a bounce house. But Crystal said I have to join the PTA and be more involved. I can't just throw money.
I don't think you need to join it. You just need to find somebody on the PTA that you can kind of funnel your ideas to.
But I don't know if they appreciate. They're like, oh, this guy just wants the appreciation.
I think that's the only reason they do it. Like the only reason.
They're doing meetings and doing like they're involved
but they're
in the
still
school.
egomaniacs. The lady that I know, remember the lady that hit my car?
Yeah.
She's on the PTA. And she doesn't do it because she loves it.
Oh, listen, be careful with you. You're going to do real. Like, I don't want to cause you problems. I'm going to save you from yourself.
I know.
Because then you're going to be yelling at your wife.
I'm just saying. It's like, I don't think she does it because she loves it. I think she does it because it's got a certain level of coolness that comes with it, right?
Back to my original point with the BDMs, I started thinking, I'm like, we should do a BDM family get-together at a park. And
now, you have been saying that for about a decade.
And then I know we did a BDM barbecue back in the day.
No,
Tony kind of put it together.
I remember one time you said that you wanted to have like double bounce house, a video game truck. You wanted to have.
Well, we had the video games truck scheduled for the BDM barbecue, but that was
that's right.
That was in COVID,
right? Yeah.
Wasn't it during COVID?
Yeah.
We had to cancel. I forgot why. Anyway, but I was like, we could put this together and just do something. Get some food trucks, get some kid events.
The chat room would like me to point out to you that they feel like you are going through your yearly phase of I need recognition, where you go through a phase of you want to set up a thing and then point at it and be like, I did that, and then everybody's supposed to cheer.
What? That's weird. That's what every human wanted. That's why Jerry Jones built the biggest stadium in the world.
It's falling apart now.
That's what he wants.
It's falling apart now.
Anyway, become a BDM. TomandDan.com.
Are we going to do that? Are we going to buy something for the Winter Carnival? Now would be the time to get in.
Well, it's already over.
No, I know for next year.
Yeah, but Tommy's now leaving, so it's only Max would get he's going to fifth grade.
You can invite Tommy back. He'll just be like Matthew McConaughey and all right. He's just older, coming back for the.
I need the
girls keep staying the same age. The girls stay the same age.
I may have to do it. I don't think the middle schools do nothing.
Is this going to break you apart? The fact that they are now broken apart, it's going to be a rough year. Not for them, for you.
Well, I want Tommy. Okay, I'll tell you my fantasy.
Oh, did you get him a gun?
Did
you get him a
gun? No.
Okay.
So the 2 days a week we go to cross country, right? And they do the program Tuesday mornings and Thursday mornings. And some of the kids that have gone to middle school are like in sixth grade, but they were in cross country the year before. They come and run before middle school.
Okay.
So they still, even though they go to a different school now, they'll come back to their elementary school and then run cross country because the coach is like, "Hey, you guys, I'd love for you guys to, if you want to come back, and it's great." And I see these kids, and I'm like, "Oh, this is awesome." This kid, I mean, he doesn't have to wake up. You have to wake up at 6 in the morning to get there by 7 or whatever.
Early. Yeah, it's hard.
Like middle school starts way later. Like there was one of the benefits of middle school is it starts at 9:30.
Yeah.
But these kids, they're waking up early still 2 days a week going back, and I'm like, these kids got the goods. Like this is amazing, right?
I got you.
And then so I want Tommy when he goes to middle school to then come with, because Max will be doing cross country next year, to come back and run cross country with us.
Now, what if he says no?
Well, I know he's going to say no. What if I even propose that to him? He's like, I'm not doing that. He's like, I'm like, I get to go. I have to sleep in.
Well, let's work on this. How do we make your dream happen? You're going to have to pay him. You have to pay him.
Yeah, but it never works. They don't understand money because they don't care about money.
Now, would it? I know you don't like doing this, but if you, let's say you said, hey, this is something that means something to me. If you don't run, you don't get an iPad.
Well, now,
I'm not saying that. I'm
I'm punishing him, kind of like this is just above and beyond. I want him to be the kids that wake up early.
That's like asking that. There's a fat. Okay, let me give you a great example. That's very pertinent and in the news. There is a very fat rapper right now, whose name is Dave Blunts. I believe that's his name.
All right, Dave Blunts,
and he's like 500 pounds.
Okay, all right.
And he got
500.
Yeah, he's so and he raps with an oxygen tank. On stage, he cannot stand. He has to sit on a couch.
Okay. When you said 500, I thought you were exaggerating.
No.
I'm like, usually if you're 500, you can't walk.
No. Dave Blunts.
He is couch bound.
Yeah, here's the picture of him yelling at Snoop Dogg.
Okay.
I'm going to weave this in. Hollywood Danny's here, by the way. Hold on.
Okay.
I'm going to play my song. Hold on, here we go.
Hey, it's Hollywood Danny.
Hollywood Danny. All right, Hollywood Danny, breaking Hollywood news.
So Dave
Blunts. Yeah, Dave Blunts. He's a 500-pound rapper. Here he is on stage. There he is.
Okay, he is big.
Let me put this up so everybody can kind of see it here. And again, I apologize
Does
for
he
my
tout
voice.
himself as the world's biggest rapper?
I don't know if he touts himself as the world's biggest rapper, but he's a super big boy. All right, here he is. All right, I got it here. Here's Dave Blunts. 500-pound Dave Blunt slammed Snoop Dogg fans because he slammed Snoop Dogg because Snoop Dogg was like, "Yo, cousin, put down the chips, put down the cup, N-word." You know, like he did that. That was a pretty decent Snoop.
Old man Snoop Dogg was telling this guy not to eat so much?
Yeah, Snoop Dogg was like, hey, cuz, put down the chips. You know, like he was doing the... Yeah, booga looga. You know, he's like, sticky, icky.
Now, of all things Snoop Dogg could have said, it's not that bad, honestly.
No. In fact, I think a lot of people are like wanting... Like they're doing it out of like, kind of like... it's a joke. You are 500 pounds. You do use oxygen on the stage. Like, this is how he raps, which is kind of sad. And by kind of, I mean very.
Okay, well,
so it's out of love.
He wants to live.
It's out of love. But
it's America. You can do what you want.
But also, just to go back to my analogy of Tommy wanting to do the thing, this dude is never going to lose that weight or stop rapping with an oxygen tank unless he wants to do it. He's going to stay on that couch and rap with an oxygen tank, and I personally hope your son does that because that would be awesome. But he won't because he's too skinny.
So, like...
it's not going to happen. He's going to have to want to do it, is my point.
Also, there is a paradox you get into, and I feel like Bert Kreischer's got into this paradox. Anybody who is known for a novelty, and I say Bert Kreischer, like Bert Kreischer takes his shirt off, gets drunk all the time. Like known for partying.
Yeah.
Harder for him to stop doing that because that's his thing. You know what I'm saying? So if he like stop drinking, even though he has and stuff and whatever, he's funny enough to get through it. But there is something to be said to that. What you're known for kind of is you built a prison.
Right.
You're stuck. And so if you're this guy, and this is why, it's kind of like why we think Jelly Roll won't ever lose the weight, because it's part of who his character and who he's become.
I mean, he is 100 pounds down, but I don't see him going the ripped way because, like you said, it is part of him. I'm trying to find the video of him yelling at Snoop.
Going full Jonah Hill, because Jonah Hill went from big to he's skinny now. Like Jonah Hill, I don't know if he went back, but he was.
I think he's normal now.
He was at one point very thin. And so, you could lose if you're 500 pounds. I mean, you could lose 100 pounds, and you can't really tell that much. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's good, but at that point,
I'm trying to find this video for you. I want you. Oh, here he is.
If you lost 300 pounds, you'd be like, you really.
Okay,
noticed.
here's the video. This is really sad. This is him on stage.
I want to hear him rap.
He does. It's different here.
Hey, Chicago, do y'all have a problem with me sitting down on this stage? A rapper.
So he says.
And by the way, if Chicago did have a problem, could you do anything about it? Why'd you even ask that?
Well, he asked it because he claps back at Snoop here. Because remember, Snoop fired back, I believe, on Twitter first saying his whole, like, put the chips down, cuz. And then you got this. I think here he goes.
Falling off.
Here he goes.
Some other people give this man props.
Oh, okay. Well, this guy's doing his own thing. But basically he says, hey, Chicago, do you have any problem with me sitting on this couch and rapping? And then you hear people go like, ah. I mean, there's probably a lot of yes.
Yeah, but there's
you can't hear it. But there are. If I were there and he had said, hey, Chicago, do you have a problem with me rapping on this couch? I'd be like, yes, I do. I would say it. But with my voice like this, I'd have to say it quietly. I'd be like, yes, I do.
But you've done enough crowd performances where you can get the crowd to cheer at anything at the way you phrase it. Yeah, because then they just want to know, like, if you phrase it as if you want them to cheer, they'll cheer.
Yeah, so he's like, hey, Chicago, you got a problem with me sitting on this couch? And then people, you get the groan. And then he goes, so, hey, Snoop Dogg, get off my D.
Okay.
And then Snoop clapped back after watching the video and was like, basically laughing the whole time and like, go on, little. He goes, go on, little cousin. I mean, big cousin. He does the Snoop.
Old man joke.
And he gave him another joke. He doubled down. He goes, go on, little cuz. I mean, big cuz. I mean, big cuz. Yeah. He starts like messing with it, right?
Yeah.
Which is funny, but I think most people are good-hearted when they say, hey, if you're a good rapper, people like you, lose some weight so we can enjoy you longer than apparently to the end of the year, because you're on oxygen, bro.
Yeah.
Like that is a different level of like being sick, It
is. Obviously now he's young, right?
He's 13. No, I don't.
He's in his 20s, though, right?
Yeah, I think he's in his 20s.
Yeah. In your 20s, your body can to fight through it for a while. It's like it's when it gets above that.
He is. Let me see how old he is. He's 23. Yeah, he's young. He's very young.
Yeah. So young 23-year-old body, you could fight through the morbidly obese.
He could probably be a pretty amazing redemption story. Like he could go from being on stage, the beef with Snoop, lose a lot of weight.
But will he still continue to get gigs if he's not the novelty? Do
you think people are coming to watch him because he's the rapper that is on oxygen and sits on a couch?
Okay,
I think you're right.
Remember when I was defending a monster? I'm going to now just be stereotypical promoter who only cares about money. Okay, so Tom Van. I'm Tom Van, and I'm putting together.
I can answer your question. If you ask me as a person, would I go watch him a rap? I'd be like, well, I mean, yeah, but only because he's
Now, I don't know this person. I don't know his rapping skills, but I would.
Let me pull up a song.
Venture just to guess that there probably are. Just the same quality of actual lyricists out there that are just as good
as Dave Blunt.
I know it's subjective and it's hard to say the one rapper is as good as another, but I'm saying, like, if you were able to actually grade the rapping, I would bet that there's probably a dozen Dave Blunts that are just as good at rapping. Now, what sets Dave Blunt apart,
I'd agree with that,
is he's 500 pounds and he can't walk and he has to rap from a couch. Now,
right.
If I'm the promoter of the show and I'm looking through the spreadsheet of who I could choose,
right,
I'm going with the guy on the couch because there's a novelty for the audience, and they're like, whoa, look at that.
I don't have his story. I'm not a rapper. But as a musician, I know I can perform pretty well.
Yeah.
So then I think about that and how many other, like, even in this town, in Orlando, how many good rappers do we know that could rap as good as this guy but don't have the hook? Yeah. Our buddy Ryan in the chat room has a great idea. He said that he should lose the weight but then still perform on a couch with an oxygen tank just for spite. That's brilliant.
I love oxygen.
That's what you do.
Nothing wrong with
That's what you do. The O2 tour. That's what you do. That's a great idea.
And now it's interesting how they okay, what I want to know if I'm interviewing.
What a time to be in entertainment, dude. Like Dave Blunt, we were talking about him today. What about yesterday? You and I were talking about 70-year-old Ice-T put out a Body Count album.
No, I know. Yeah.
What a time to be a weirdo in music.
So
it's never been a better time to be a weirdo because you can put anything out there and people love it.
I want to find out behind the scenes how this guy tours from city to city. Because just getting him on the stage, I don't think the stages don't necessarily have to have wheelchair ramps. Obviously, if it's your own private stage, it's not a public thing. So they must get him up there in a wheelchair and push him somewhere. And then how does he fit on the bus? He can't sleep in a normal tour bus bunk bed. Does he sleep sitting up on the tour bus couch? It's an uncomfortable life.
Yeah, it's a hard life.
Yeah. Because there's no place to sleep on any sort of RV. Have you ever been in an RV? This guy could not fit in an RV or any sort of tour bus.
What's weird is, though, it is an interesting thing that I watched a bit of his performance when he was on the stage. This was at the Juice WRLD concert in Chicago, like a big... Or Juice Day. It was like a big festival.
Okay.
And I watched a bit of it. He is so big and he's on oxygen that he basically just plays his track and he raps, and somebody said this in the chat room, he kind of raps bits and pieces of it because he's almost so unhealthy.
Out of breath.
Yeah, he's almost so unhealthy that he can't. Try to be a rapper. When you're rapping, try to be outcast on stage.
Yeah, they're like, well, it's amazing you're still alive. They're like,
it is weird. It is a weird thing.
Just you getting up on stage and breathing is we'll cheer at.
Correct me. Are you putting this as Tom Van?
I don't mean to be insensitive.
I do.
This is as the D-head promoter.
I 100% mean to be insensitive.
I'm still the D-head promoter.
Do you put him in the same category as a Corey Feldman? People come to see the train wreck.
Yeah. Yes. Now, it's a different train wreck. Obviously, Corey Feldman.
Big train.
Like this guy.
Bigger train.
It seems like he can actually rap and he has talent. Corey Feldman. Now, I guess Corey Feldman's
talent. It's just not a lot of talent.
He plays instruments. Yeah, you're right. He has some talent. You can't take that away. He's more talented than I am. As far as singing and dancing.
Different talents.
I
could teach you how to dance like Michael Jackson in 2 weeks.
No. I think Corey Feldman can dance better than I can. Sing better.
I'll give him.
And play guitar better.
I'll give him those, but I think you could outdrum him. And you're stronger than him. And you could outrun him.
Okay, the physical feats, maybe.
You could outrun him.
He may be more interesting on the show.
He would be a good, horrible business partner.
Bad at business.
Bad at business. Real bad.
Although, what is Corey Feldman worth? What do you think he's worth?
I'm going to say he's $2 million. Corey.
God, he wasted a lot, though. Although he gets a lot of opportunity, your $2 million is pretty good. I will go... Just with real estate, he bought real estate, and
this can't be true.
I'm going $4.3 million.
This cannot be true.
All right, what is it? What does it say?
It says on this website it says he's worth $260,000.
Okay, $260.
I was like, I think if I liquidated, I might beat him.
No. He's got, because he had a house in like California that's got to be $1 million house. I've seen it on, unless he had to sell it.
God.
And Tiffany, remember, she said like the Angels used to practice at his house, and it was some.
Well, she also said a lot of other stuff that we can't really talk about.
But it's like just if he bought some property, like he's in his 50s.
I'm gonna ask ChatGPT and see if it gives me a different answer. Yeah, okay. It compiled everything that I just saw. So we have $30,000 according to Celebrity Net Worth.
No, they're just insulting him now.
Then we have $1 million according to legit.ng, and then we have $2 million according to Tadler.
I think the $2 million. I think it's you were right.
He reported. Oh wow! I got from the IRS. These discrepancies may stem from different assessment methods and the timing of evaluations, notably during divorce proceedings in 2024. Feldman disclosed having around $34,000 in the bank and owing approximately $200,000 to the IRS. He reported earning $78,000 in 2023.
Oh, wow.
Dude, this is worse than we thought.
Yeah. Then he got a divorce.
That is from his actual IRS documents. He made less than a lot of our listeners last year.
Yeah. Now,
we have some nurses. We have some traveling nurses that email me that doubled, maybe tripled his salary.
Now, I bet you
that's nuts.
His touring manager or wherever the hell, there's some cash deals with some of these clubs. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not reporting everything, so the 74 is probably low, but even if he cleared like 110, I would have guessed more. Just in the fact that I remember when we wanted to book him, it was like 15,000.
It was 15K, yeah.
And so I was like, all right, if that's his going rate, and he's and you start doing the math, you're like, well, you can make over $1 million touring throughout the year and all these places.
Well, based on 15K,
but maybe
2023, he only performed 6 times.
Yeah, and maybe a lot of other deals were ticket sales stuff that, like, I mean...
Well, he does sell merch. He does sell,
Yeah, you would think with merch he would make...
I don't think he's that organized, though. Dude.
Yeah, you're right.
I've been on his website before. It's like GeoCities. It's it's like a Wix.com.
I always forget that. I'm like, I think these celebrities or like the people that have notoriety have like smart people behind the scenes, like helping them.
Even guys that have it together. I remember one time Marlon Wayans came in here, and I go to his website, and he didn't pay for it, and he was down, and I'm like, dude, you got to pay for your website.
Yeah.
Like it's like,
although that's probably I'm just too busy to notice.
Correct. He doesn't need a website. Too big.
But I always thought there were handlers that like basically, but the handlers were skimming from the top, right? That's why they're doing it.
They probably get lazy too, right? Just like anybody does. You do something for long enough, and then it gets lazier and lazier.
Imagine the nightmare of the manager of like Corey Feldman, where you're sitting back and let's just say back to Tom Mann, the promoter.
Oh yeah, I love him.
I'm like, this guy, everybody knows him. Like anytime he does a performance on the Today Show, the internet blows up and they're clowning him. You know, like, and so I could set up a tour date with this guy, and like we could tour around and we could hit the radio stations. Like the radio stations would love interviewing Corey Feldman.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and then he's promoting like I'll be at the House of Blues.
You could probably charge for that, and they'd pay.
Yeah, but even it would be easy to get interviews because they'd all, and then I'd tell them like, hey, you can't talk to him like he's crazy. Like you'd have to be cool, and they'll do it just to get him on.
Softballs only.
But then you have to deal with Corey Feldman the whole year and get him to show up at the shows, and then do
you think he's annoying?
And get him to practice. Oh yeah.
Do you think he's more annoying than me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's the nicest thing you've ever told me.
Severely mentally ill.
That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
No, I mean,
I'm less annoying.
I don't think he...
I appreciate that.
I don't know if he has much understanding of what is really going on. I don't know. But maybe he does, and maybe it's all kind of just a put-on a little bit.
I think he's also addicted to sex.
Yeah, there's some of that.
But that's the fun part, right? Like, if you're getting to, like, hang out with him, and he's like, hey... The Angels are having an orgy. You want to come in here and hang out? You can film it in the corner. I'd be like, all right. That's cool, Corey.
There has to be something with the Angels, right? Although Tiffany said they all knew he was crazy and they're doing it for the job.
But she also said some other things about his treatment of them. It was like, I can't even say it.
All right. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more Corporate Time. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. This is super cool because I feel like, instantly getting to chat with this particular gentleman and comedian, when we're looking at like where he kind of zoomed in from, we're like, boom, this dude's doing stuff that we like to do.
Well, also, after reading about Shane, I'm so glad that you fell into the stereotype that I wanted you to be, where all of a sudden you call in and a full beard, I call it the runner's gump look.
Yeah. Definitely. The guy calling in for the psychedelic show calls in late with a beard, with bed beard, and pure classic hippie hair in front of palm trees.
Yes, at some sort of random campsite. You don't even know where it's at.
Yeah, like
I have no idea where I am.
I like that. I want to share that. Yeah, you're zooming in. You do have a show at the Abbey here in Orlando. On the line with us right now, live from a campsite somewhere in Florida. We do not know where. Shane Moss is on the line. He has a brand new show. He is known as the psychedelic comic or a psychedelic comic, but trust me, if you Google him, he's the guy. And hey, thanks for the time, man.
And the show at the Abbey is on December 9th.
Yep.
And you can get your tickets, theabbey.com.
Boom.
Shane Moss's website. But you guys know where the Abbey is. So Shane, me and Daniel were just talking about psychedelics. And I know you know the science. You do a science podcast. Here we are.
Here we are.
Yep.
Yeah. Congrats on that, man. You've been doing that for like 9 years now?
I think I started it 12 years ago, and I only took one break, and it was to put together my last tour, and we just finished recording a 2-part special. And for my psychedelic, my last psychedelic comedy show, and that'll be out next year.
Nice.
And so I'm starting up the podcast again and getting ready for launch next year. And so Florida is where I'm workshopping the new show that I'll be touring with all of next year.
That's awesome, man. Well, we are honored to have you.
So Shane, now I watched that Netflix mushroom show, the documentary. I forgot the guy's name. I'm sure you know him. He's
probably How to Change Your Mind, Michael Pollan.
Yes, I call him Mushroom Man. Because
yeah, we're just like the guy on the Netflix. Yeah,
but when I'm
so maybe it's Paul Stamets then.
Maybe
it's the mushroom guy. No, I think you're talking about Michael Pollan.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't watch a lot of TV.
So yeah, and you don't need to. The TV is playing in your brain.
You are the TV.
So, and the theory about how ancient human brains evolved from eating mushrooms, and they believe that somehow accelerated our brains and how we think, and that's one of the reasons why we're so advanced, and because of those, how many tens of thousands of years of just eating psilocybin and other psychedelics, and that formed the pathways in our brain that so like, and I look at that.
I mean, it's certainly a fun story. I think people really into psychedelics really want to believe that is true. And I'm not sure how much scientific basis it actually has. I can tell you that psychedelics do tend to increase neuroplasticity and some verbal fluency stuff. So maybe if that brought out some traits that were eventually selected for and got some people laid over time through the years, and then those kind of traits for openness eventually evolved, I can maybe see something being cobbled together through the long span of evolution, but I doubt that it has a direct connection to changing the shape of our brain. However, it is very much true that psychedelics have been a part of our evolutionary history for a very, very long time, as evidenced from a lot of archaeologists and cave paintings and things like that.
Well, it does make sense logically that ancient humans were just eating things around the mushrooms, anything like hunters and gatherers, they're gathering, and then you'd eat psilocybin and other things that make you hallucinate. And in my own life, I'll eat THC all the time, and I do find that and it has
we are those guys. Yeah, we're probably the Stoner Orlando podcast.
But I do, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners do find, and even if you smoke it, but eating it somehow has like a little more of this effect where I feel like I do think of ideas outside the box that I normally wouldn't have thought of, and that it kind of makes sense. Like if ancient human, you get into the habit of your brain just wants to survive. You do the same thing every day, and then all of a sudden you introduce psychedelics or THC or something to expand your mind, and you think of something you normally wouldn't have thought of. And I was like, that could have helped humans evolve to, or get to, thinking of new ideas.
What do you think about that?
Oh, I absolutely believe that psychedelics are a huge boon for creativity, in that they activate different regions of the brain that normally don't have kind of crosstalk. So this is where some of the kind of hallucinations and things come from, where people might like see music or something like that. That's just synesthesia. Some people have that naturally. And so, there's a huge benefit to creativity. I would say that humans are about the most cognitively flexible species on Earth, and have a vast toolkit. So to me, it would make sense that there is a lot of psychological motivations to kind of stick with what works for a lot of people. Maybe 80% of people do that, and then maybe 20% of people are like, hey, what the hell is over that hill? And a lot of them die, and then some of them bring back some real treasures that are a benefit for all. So I can see psychedelics kind of being a role in that, in increasing kind of technologies and cultural transmissions, and certainly we are one of the only species that would have the kind of psychoactive effects that we experience, as the main thing that psychedelics do is act on the layer of the brain, the cortex, which is what makes us most human. So a lot of our fancy language, philosophical pontification stuff comes from the cortex. Psychedelics are having a direct impact on that, which is why they don't do much of anything to most other species. And it could be like a creative steroid of sorts. I've always kind of felt it to be that way.
Yeah, where do you think we are now with, Tom and I always talk about, we're like looking around and we hear people, every day there's a new article that's out there. Every day you go to Target or Walmart, you see more mushrooms everywhere. People describing that we are in some sort of psychedelic renaissance. What do you think about that term? Overused? Dumb? Are we? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's something like that is happening. As someone who's been in the game for a bit and experienced different levels of excitement and discouragement, I would say that, I did my first, I did a joke about psychedelics on The Late Show with Conan O'Brien, his original show back in 2007. Yeah. And it was the most benign little joke. It was a joke about eating too many mushrooms, finding myself in a Best Buy, inadvertently wandering into the camcorder department and thinking I was watching a movie about me watching a movie about me. And just, I would say that's a pretty unthreatening, pretty safe joke in terms of how psychedelics go. I had to fight with the FCC. Basically, I had to fight with the government for like 3 months to be able to say that on TV in 2007, and I did my first fully themed psychedelic show back in 2015, I believe. And back then it was like, oh my gosh, I think actually the first time I ever did my psychedelic show was in Florida as well. So what a lovely time that I'm launching this new one in Florida as well.
Can you explain a little bit about how, like, going through your career, how you would use a little bit, you maybe dabble a little bit in a psychedelic joke or put a little joke in there here and there, but you had to almost work your way up where you could do like a full, a completely psychedelic comedy show, right?
Well, I just didn't know that there was a audience for it. As far as I could tell, whenever I mentioned psychedelics on stage, I could get 1 or 2 jokes to work. But if I talked about psychedelics for more than, say, 5 minutes, people started looking at me goofy. So I just didn't know there was an audience for it. I'd just been tripping balls by myself for a long time. I didn't really know that it was a relatable topic until the world of podcasting and things came out, and it allowed for more long form, more honest, uncensored conversations. And I happened to have some stories that I shared on a couple podcasts. I remember Pete Holmes' podcast in particular, You Made It Weird, where I told a DMT story that I wasn't intending on telling, and it ended up taking over the whole show. And then I got all of these messages and everything. I was like, oh my gosh, people actually care about this stuff? I have no idea.
Wow.
Or I had no idea. And so that was the first time I put together a show. But back then, it was like, people would come out like, oh my gosh, like someone's talking about psychedelics for a whole show on stage. I can't believe that's happening. And now it's like, I mean, the level of like the number of grandparents that come to my show. It's like everyone knows about psychedelics now. It's back then, no one knew what ayahuasca was, and now it's like a whole cliche. Everyone, oh, ayahuasca, sure, the stuff you go to Peru or Brooklyn, and
it's those two places, yeah.
Shane, I'm curious because you know a lot about this topic, and I'm fascinated by it. Now, so let's look at the science behind all this. So, like, let's start with the ice baths, because I'll make the comparison from ice baths to psychedelics. So, ice baths, we see in Wim Hof, and like, there's actually science behind submerging your body in super cold water.
I like he's giving the hand. He's like, pseudoscience.
Okay.
Yeah. Those are pretty small sample sizes.
It is, yes, I know, but it makes sense to me, Shane. So follow this long, high question I have. So it's and like making your body freak out and think it's dying. I could see like, and I'm not talking cold showers because this is where the correlation comes. But making your body freak out and think it's dying does release emergency proteins and things like it. There is some science behind your body surviving, and then the benefits that something like that can do.
Sure.
I also think we should bleed a lot more, give blood and stuff, and like that. Our body constantly creating. We're making it too easy on ourselves. Anyway,
stay on track.
So back to the ice bath. So cold shit.
I love this new suffer worship culture that's been created by the wellness communities. Go on.
Well, I thought you were part of it, Shane.
No, I don't think he is at all.
So anyway, so then
I'm actually a bit of I'm to most people I would be called a little more of a skeptic within some of the communities, but go on. I have a lot to say, and I'm very interested. But I'm also giving you a hard time because it's fun.
No, I like it. No, give me a hard time. I can take hard times.
We're really glad you're here.
So I'm like, okay, if you submerge yourself in super freezing water, like I could see the benefits there. Like cold showers do nothing, right? Whatever. So then there's like the psychedelics, and I see the benefit. And in going back to that mushroom documentary, and like people with PTSD and extreme anxiety or whatever, they're going through a megadose trip, and then coming out the other side feeling like they are thinking about life and everything differently. And they've described it like that, and like going through this mega trip has kind of wired the pathways in my brain, and I think differently now, and my anxiety's gone or lower or whatever. And then I'm like, I could see that makes sense to me. But the microdose doesn't do it, the megadose does it. And so what are your thoughts on that?
Well, how much time do I have?
Oh, as much as you want.
I have so much to say about all of this.
Okay.
So let's see where to start. One, I mean, if you want the kind of nuts and bolts science, that's a little bit, unfortunately, because of the federal laws making things a Schedule 1. One of the only things that Schedule 1 actually does, it doesn't deter crime, it doesn't deter use, it doesn't change the penalties of a drug. You'll get in more trouble for, let's say, a Schedule 2 cocaine or something like that, which is psychedelics and marijuana are still to this day scheduled more Schedule 1, meaning more restrictive than cocaine, opiates, fentanyl, those sorts of things, and so because of that makes it it doesn't change anything of what happens on the streets, or certainly not saving any lives, but it does make it so that scientists have an incredibly difficult time getting approval to run any of these studies. The number of hoops you basically, I mean, it wasn't until the Multidisciplinary Association of Psychedelic Studies started 25 years ago, and after 15 years of hard work, just started to start doing some small studies. So here's what some of these small studies have revealed so far is something like MDMA. So I would caution people against thinking they need a megadose, by the way. I think that
oh, man, we're the megadose guys.
Well, I mean, under supervision and in a smart manner.
Sure. I mean, first up, I think you're right in that if you were implying that that kind of microdosing maybe has some more subtle to maybe no effects, I think you'd probably be right, and they aren't well studied, and I don't have. I think there's too much hype about microdosing. I think it's like a safe thing where people are like, people are very interested in doing the amount of psychedelics that they won't feel.
Yes, I see that all the time. They give me the pills all the time. They're like, here's some mushroom pills. I take it. I'm like, I got nothing. And they're like, oh, it's a microdose. And I'm like, well, then why'd you give it to me? It's pointless.
I don't know what the difference between taking a microdose every day and taking an antidepressant every day is. If you're altering your mind on a daily basis, I think you're just increasing a dependency on something, and you're not creating any real change, the kind of change that can happen from experiential events that happen in some of those larger experiences with the aid of some neuroplasticity from some fancy neural jargon that I don't think we need to get into. But so here's how something like MDMA works. So it's what it's doing is it's limiting the blood flow to the amygdala, which is where you're getting a lot of your fear processing. And so a lot of the reasons why someone would have something like PTSD is because they can't process a lot of those memories in healthy ways without being triggered, because they have an inflamed amygdala. They have an enlarged amygdala. And so suddenly someone bumps in, you're at the grocery store, someone bumps into the back of your leg with a grocery cart, and you suddenly recall some traumatic accident that you were in as a child, and you react in this outrageous, uncontrolled way that you kind of don't have control over, and then you try to repress those ideas when they come up. So it decreases blood flow to the fear processing while increasing blood flow to the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is a lot of the kind of higher executive functioning. This is the more thoughtful decision-making stuff. And this is even much more than the cortex, the normal cortex that I mentioned earlier. The prefrontal is what really makes us the most human. It's what helps us in delayed gratification and everything else. And so under the guidance of therapy, and kind of being given the space to examine some of those old traumatic memories with guidance, with now having your fear processing dampened while your thoughtfulness is increased at the same time, you can reframe some of those memories and address them. So that's something like MDMA that's pretty well studied. The FDA just didn't approve the current study, but it will still be approved in a few years. It's just going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt. And then there's ketamine that just has a long history of hospital use, and so that is well studied because it's a Schedule 3.
And you're a fan, right? Like, aren't you? You're a pretty big ketamine fan, correct? Like,
I do, but not for clinical reasons.
Gotcha.
I'm very like recreational and willy-nilly with my ketamine. Ketamine's the only psychedelic that I'm willy-nilly about, and It's a fun one. It's the only one that can potentially be addictive, and I can see why. It's kind of like it's shorter. It's kind of fun. It's not like you have to work yourself up to do it. It's not like this whole like a scary like a mental journey and you need a shaman there or a therapist or something. It's just sort of fun for me.
Interesting.
But
you
in
think that's what got
setting.
Matthew Perry, is that he was an addict and he got a hold of ketamine in like some clinical way, and then he started abusing it because
it's good.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing with things that feel good. They can be they can be addictive for sure.
Yeah.
Well, again, I think Matthew Perry had a few other things in his system and some other things going on, but it is that I do think that story, because we're kind of into anecdotes and celebrity culture, did set back the psychedelic movement some, and was probably pretty poor timing. Yeah. But Aaron Rodgers is about to have some documentary on Netflix December 15th, where he's going to be doing ayahuasca and all of these other things. So finally, like, the psychedelics that my parents in Wisconsin have been judging me for the last 20 years and basically and feeling like disowning me, or they're gonna be like, wow, well, if a football player is doing this stuff,
an American hero.
I mean, that's just humans for you. What are you gonna do? I will say this about ice baths, which is that I don't know how much some of the, because I actually think it's important. I think it's a what would be called an entourage effect, like an additional component of the effect that is working beyond just the drug itself, which is that we say the word placebo like it's a bad thing, like, oh, that didn't do anything. But in my book, life is about finding the placebo that works for you. And I think some of the placebo effects of having something that is that does, like you said, kind of mimic a threat, but is actually benign and triggers something in you. I think at the very least, let's say for a moment that that it's actually not doing anything at some cellular level, that Andrew Huberman is actually cherry picking some stuff to sell you a bunch of wellness products, and he does it quite eloquently. Let's say that for a second. Then I would still say that it has all the right things for a placebo, which is, if you do something that is hard to do, and it really also, like, the less it actually does, the more unlocks placebo effect. Because if you jump in an ice bath and then it actually doesn't do anything on some cellular, well, then you just, like, tortured yourself for no reason.
Right.
And our consciousness doesn't allow us often to think we're that stupid. So whenever we put ourselves through some ridiculously stupid thing, there's a part of our subconscious mind that'll be like, well, I wouldn't have gone through all that for nothing. Right. And so it must have done something.
Yeah.
And I actually think that can really have a positive effect on mood and ability to reset yourself and to kind of drop some baggage of the preceding days and weeks of your life and kind of get a fresh start on things. And I think that's an additional effect of psychedelics, where, listen, no one would ever call ayahuasca a placebo, but I also believe there are placebo effects that also impact an ayahuasca experience. If you flew all the way to Peru, if you're enjoying some new culture, if you spent all this money, you did all of these other things, it's also kind of making your brain more receptive to the idea that these things are working. And a lot of times, if you believe something's working, it's going to kind of help you keep moving forward in life and keep you in good spirits and mitigate stress. And that's as much as most of us can hope for in life.
For sure.
Shane, let me ask you a couple more questions. We could talk to you all day.
Let's
because
plug him real quick.
All right, he'll be at the Abbey December 9th. Go see Shane Moss. Listen to his podcast, Here We Are podcast. He's been doing it for a long time.
We're going to beg him to come in here when he ever comes back to Orlando and isn't super busy and camping. Because
I would love to do that.
We love chatting with you, and this is a topic that we don't know anything about, and we pretend that we do. So to have somebody else in here that could show us the way would be really fun.
But by the way, Shane, I'm sure you know this, but there are.
I actually think you guys sound like you know what you're talking about a lot more than a lot of local radio programs.
All right, we did it. We did it.
Well, we love.
Usually it's like, so you talk about psychedelics. Hey, what's up with that?
Yeah, well, I know. Yeah. We know, Shane. That's why we left that. We do it. We work for ourselves now because we couldn't stand that.
That is the reason we left. 100% why we left.
Oh, and then also, I'm sure you know this, but there are psilocybin mushrooms all around you in the cow fields everywhere in Florida. As a kid, me and my friends used to get garbage bags full of them. I mean, I told someone from California about this, and it blew their minds. They were like, "What?" And I'm like, "There's garbage bags of mushrooms
everywhere,"
and I'm like, "And the good ones." Anyway, so back to ayahuasca. What are your thoughts on the people that see that supposedly they have no connection with one another, and they see these figures and they all describe them as the same,
and they're all connected? Yeah.
Yeah, I have a story about seeing a purple lady multiple times on DMT that other people see as well. I actually, once again, it seems to bum some people out because I think a lot of people are drawn to the more mystical conclusions. And rightfully so. I mean, that's certainly face value. There's no denying you have an experience like that. It is as real as something can feel. It's just as real as these palm trees behind me when you're in the experience. So it's up to debate whether I am in a simulation right now or not. So these are rather complicated ideas that I have about. Let me see if I can put it as short and as simply as I can.
Perfect.
So let's start with this. I think the best metaphor that I could give is about how the subconscious mind works is if you've seen the movie Inside Out. So if you've seen the movie Inside Out, this little girl has these different characters in her mind that represent depression or that represent joy and sadness, fear, disgust, and anger. Yeah, and they're fighting over levers on a control panel and such, and storing her memories in different ways at different times of her life, and that's driving her external behavior and external emotional states and how she acts. I actually think it does a really nice job of summing up how I actually do believe the mind works, and how there's like a different region where dreams are coming from, and constructing narratives that we aren't privy to kind of during our waking states. And in that movie, all of those emotional characters are aware that she is there, that the girl exists. The girl is not aware that they are there. I actually want to see a sequel to those films one day called Outside In, where that little girl as an adult smokes DMT for the first time and pops down into those worlds. It's like, oh my God, it's like there's this joyful God and this angry God and this sad God and all these different worlds.
Yeah.
I think that's what it would look like. I think if you never had access to those regions and you saw them for the first time, they would look like gods. And those things themselves, if you got a chance to communicate them, they would feel as if they are. They only have access to what they have access to, and much like we're all the center of our own perceptual universe, probably different, smaller parts of our brain are the same. So why does the brain have stuff like this? Well, we have to have these kind of flexible templates to understanding things. So if you want a robot, if you want to train a robot to be able to identify a tree, for instance, you would in the original like computer programming, what you would do is you would show that computer every picture of every tree you could find. But if you hadn't shown the computer a picture of this palm tree back here, you showed it this palm tree, it would have no idea what it was, because you didn't show it that specific example, because it's just using these brute force comparisons, going through a catalog of trees it's seen in the past. The human brain doesn't work like that. The human brain instead has these categorical thinking. We have these templates. So we have an idea of a perfect tree. And most trees, so every time we see a new species of tree, we aren't like, what the hell is that thing?
Yeah.
So even when we see something that looks vastly different than a lot of trees, like these palm trees behind me, our brains can still sort of make sense of it. We don't spin out of control. We aren't lost trying to identify it. In that same way, I think that we all have kind of these embodied archetypes of say, a car or a male or a female or a cat or anything else that, like, you close your eyes and you have kind of a picture like an emoji. An emoji is kind of like, okay, that's not actually what a human face looks like when it smiles, but it gets the idea across.
Yeah, it's like the essence.
And oh man, am I shutting down? Am I running out of? Hold on 1 second here.
Oh no, we talked his phone power out. Now he's trapped.
Sorry, Shane.
We trapped Shane Moss in the wilderness with no phone.
I know that we're just here to plug your Abby show
and we're just
December 9th, and people should follow Shane Moss, follow social media, listen to his podcast. Here we are, but
and go get those tickets to the Abby show.
But now that we had you on the line, we had to ask you some deeper questions.
Well, I mean, honestly, like, this was a last-minute setup, and man, we could not be happier that we got the chance to even talk to you. This is like super, super, super fun.
Did his phone die? I think it did.
I think we lost him.
Oh God, I had talked to that dude for a while.
I purposely didn't. This was kind of like something that I knew you would love. So
yeah.
Damn it. We really lost him that time. Now he's gone.
Well, I was going to ask him, like, what he suggested.
That was my last question.
That people, like, if they want to experiment. And, we talk about the microdose doing nothing. Like, the microdose will do something. At least it'll introduce you. It'll take the fear away.
Well, he was just saying in your comparison that he agreed with the, like, there is something to be said. I mean, like, also, when he was describing the microdose, it almost gave me, like, tell me if you agree with this, it almost gave me a little bit better of a feeling about taking the small amount of antidepressants that I do, because it is such a small amount.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it made me think, well, it is a microdose, but then it does make me question whether or not, and you and I have talked about this at length multiple times about my anxiety, if I did approach it with a mega dose, for lack of a better term.
MDMA with a therapist and professional.
With a doctor, the whole nine, and you go in and they size me up, and then, like he was saying about the compartmentalization of the different moods or feelings or anxiety or whatever I have in my brain, and then to try and access that with a mega dose and then come out the other side and see if there was something that was resolved in that experience.
Yeah, and instead of, like, maybe the antidepressants are just putting a Band-Aid over a nonstop bleeding cut.
Right.
And then you're just like, well, you're not fixing the cut.
Right.
You're just Band-Aiding it, and then
I think I got him back, so we can at least say goodbye to him.
Okay, yeah.
Because I don't want to waste his battery anymore. Let's see if we can get him in here.
Let's see.
No, I think maybe we. Okay, sorry.
No, that's all right.
I thought we had him.
Was he trying to call back?
Yeah.
Damn
it.
Anyway, so you start looking at, like, could this therapy actually do something to cure or fix even like long term, short term, I'm saying, something you'd have to do every couple of years. Something would be vastly better than, some small Band-Aid every day.
I think that's kind of what Drew Garabo was talking, not to blow up his spot or anything, but he was kind of talking to me about the maintenance that you do on a ketamine treatment, like where you go in and you have one, and then time goes on, and then you may not need to have another one, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe you do, like something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's and he is right. It's like what we've done with the law is so stupid. I laugh at this.
You could say that about a lot of laws, about a lot of things.
And then you forget about, like, the THC seltzers that are out now. We had some at our beer fest.
Yeah.
And I bet you, and I even feel this way a tiny bit, like if I had a THC seltzer in my drink cooler next to a White Claw, I'm like, ugh, I don't want my kids to see the THC seltzer alcohol. And that's just
I do
the
too.
way I grew up. That's just perception.
Well, alcohol's normalized.
Yeah. That is so stupid if you really think about it. Like, what the hell? The alcohol is way more poisonous than the THC.
Here's a true statement. I've never had
that's biology.
None of my friends have ever gotten really high and done something at a party or in front of me that they would be embarrassed. That's just not a thing.
Now you can get insanely high and not be able to drive and just be as close.
You can be impaired. Yes.
You can be as close to effed up as in the alcohol. I'm just talking about the actual, like, the difference between alcohol and THC. It's like, the THC is better for you, right? And then, but the perception is that I don't want my kids but the alcohol, I'm fine with showing them. And then that's all societal. And if you look at it, you're like, God, that's stupid.
Well, it would be the inverse of that if everybody did, right? Like if marijuana was like the beer.
Yeah.
And it's becoming that way, right?
Yeah. I mean, it is.
It's becoming that way.
But then you look at MDMA and mushrooms and
DMT,
psychedelics, and that's looked
ayahuasca.
at is way more crazy than fentanyl. Even though fentanyl, they are doing a good job of like villainizing this.
That's what I want. Though.
But opiates,
I want that fentanyl.
But opiates have always been. Like, you go to a doctor, they give you an opiate of some sort, and that's been normalized. But the psychedelics are kind of villainized, which is also ridiculous because the opiates have caused way more deaths and way more societal harm than the psychedelics. Now, again, with all this, and the balance is trying to figure out how to give it to society and them, because for the most part, people they'll do dumb things and they don't know how. It's like, like the joke about, we gave the villagers the sheep so that they could shave the sheep and they ate them all.
They had one feast. They had one feast at the end of the day, and they're all dead.
And then our whole system is set up because politicians just want to get votes, and then they want to use ignorance to get votes, and then it's like, okay, well, the system's flawed. But anyway, long story short, the psychedelics and MDMA and even experimenting with it is getting more open, and I do understand the benefits from all this, and I'd like to start trying it. One of those things where, it's finding the time to go, and also, like, I don't know, you have to really get into talking to it.
You need like a circle of friends that you can really trust.
You can't just take some ecstasy tablets and then I'm talking about like figuring out how to experiment with it responsibly and in an environment that's positive and for positive reasons.
I wonder if
not just for party reasons, which has always been my life.
There'll always be party reasons, right?
Yeah, and you can do it for
everybody. Yeah,
you can do it for party reasons.
Well, even Shane was saying that like ketamine is the willy-nilly drug. I mean, that's exactly what he said.
But I should be taking mushrooms and camping and in nature and in certain things, because that could make the experience better, make me think about it or appreciate it different. Like, there's lots of things that but then I hold myself back and like, I'm taking mushrooms and my son's around.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you.
I'm not telling him that, but it's just like, but then I do it with THC. Because that I've convinced myself like, THC is fine. Yeah. What the hell? I mean, mushrooms are the same S.
It only has everything to do with what you can convince yourself. Really?
Yeah. I'm drinking alcohol in front of them, openly drunk. So what the hell? Wait, and then I don't want to take mushrooms. Like, give me a break.
Yeah.
Like if I actually look at it on paper, it's stupid. But
God, I couldn't tell you the last time I did. Well, I could tell you the last time I did them, and it did nothing. Or when Josh Wolf gave me those mushroom pills when he was here in town, like what was that, 2 months ago? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Well, maybe you didn't take enough or whatever.
I took them both. He told me you gotta take them both. I took them both.
Were you on THC?
No.
Did dead sober?
Not dead sober.
Okay. Well, I think that
had a couple beers.
I think that's the problem, because then the alcohol affects it, where you're just like, am I...
like messes it up or something.
Or it's just like you're getting confused by the effects of the alcohol or this, and, but it's fascinating to me, and I truly believe people like Shane and the people that are into it. God, I know a guy that was straight edge his whole life, never and still doesn't do alcohol, weed, anything, and he found mushrooms, and he enjoys mushrooms. And a
couple people in the chat room are saying that. There's one, I won't say anybody's names, but he was like, yeah, those didn't do anything for me either, Dan. Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, like...
But that doesn't mean you should stop your journey. Find one that does.
Yeah, I mean, like,
it will... I'm telling you, if you take a dose of psilocybin, it's not going to be like your brain is immune to it. It will do something once you find the right dose.
Or I don't even know.
I've never seen someone that's like, oh, I'm immune to psilocybin.
Well, that's
or
why I feel
THC.
like if you were going to really do this, it kind of goes back to you and I talking about like that facility, a doctor, they know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, or a professional like Shane or anybody else. There's people that have done this and been around it for years, and they know. And so, you don't have to necessarily pay money to a therapist.
Sherpa.
Because then again, that once you get into therapy, and that becomes a whole business too. And then it's like, well, how do you know is it the business or does this person want to help you? Like doctors and stuff like that. Do they want to sell me this MRI, or are they legitimately concerned?
Dealing with that now.
It's all money at the end of the day. So a lot of times you need to go to therapists, and the people that do this for a living, of course, they're going to convince you that you need it or whatever. So I think you're your best advocate to knowing how you should go about experimenting with this. And sometimes you go to the mushroom doctor, guess what you're going to get? You're going to get mushrooms. You go to the surgeon, you're going to get surgery. Because this is a business.
Well, I mean,
you come to us for advertising, I'm giving you advertising.
I mean, also, if you're going there, I mean, you came here. It's not like...
Yeah, of course.
I mean, it's by design, that's what it is.
But everybody in their life, they have one cousin or friend of a friend that is a mushroom man and really into this. Talk to them. Go to Shane's show and talk to him. I'm sure he'll talk to you.
Well, that was one of the things he said in the documentary. I watched there's a really good 30-minute documentary about him on YouTube if you want to watch it, where he basically goes into how he likes his comedy now more than ever because he says the psychedelic community, in his opinion, is just more intelligent. And then after shows, people are curious and they will hang out and talk to him and ask him questions about it. And he really enjoys it. So it was almost like this guy already enjoyed being a comedian, but he kind of whittled his way down to specializing his comedy into something truly, truly unique.
We need to keep his info,
I got it.
And then
I'm going to shoot him an email. Maybe we can go camping with him and do some drugs.
Yeah, we'll talk to him every once in a while, especially when new things change and stuff, because he knows a lot about this. Anyway.
Yeah, good dude.
All right, guys, we'll see you on Monday.